Wendy Radio is live.
We are live.
Record
Yeah, yep, me. I'm here. Can I hear me okay?
is live. Yep.
Nice. Wow. This is the first time I ever had the sound on when I push play on the show, and you got some killer rock and roll tunes on there, don't you? That's some good stuff. I like it. Holy cow, it's going to be a big show. Yeah, don't look at the chat. Do you guys talk to the chatters during these periods, or do you just
Sometimes.
look
Yeah.
away? I can't stop. I'm just like, what are they saying next? And the first thing that pops up that I see today, I miss Wendy. So do I.
So do I.
It's so much easier when she's here. My mornings are so much less busy when Wendy's here. I can't wait till next week. Did you tell Wendy that I want to follow her show?
I did.
What did she say?
Is
Oh,
he going to still be able to do when
oh
in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
August when I have to
So
take the kids to college?
yeah, no. So here's the beauty of it: is that like when I used to do the radio, anytime that I would have to do separate things because we would do, with Patriot TV and everything like that, we would do. I would always follow my 2 hours would follow the previous show, and so what I do is I would pre-record the 2 hours the night before. Then I would do the show live, which happened to be a 3-hour show, and then it would blend right into the 2-hour show, which was pre-recorded beforehand. But here's the beauty of it: is that I would wear the same outfit, so most people didn't notice. It was pretty cool.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what I would do in August or whenever. Like I said, tell her that she deserves a break, and everything's fine. And if she wants to, take a couple of weeks off, go spend it with the family, go check out Area 51 or Mount Rushmore or anything. Are you texting her right now? Literally?
No. I was texting my wife. The dishwasher that we ordered, we were supposed to be the first stop to have it installed. Somehow didn't make it on the truck, which we both work schedules out. So now I don't know when I'm going to have a dishwasher. JD, before the show, said I should pay her more, meaning she is the dishwasher. I was offended. I was
You got to tell
offended.
everybody my sexist joke.
I was offended.
Let's set it up properly. The way you put it was, I really don't like it when the dishwasher doesn't work very well. And I said, well, you should pay her more. And then Brock was just like, I cannot believe you just
I
said
was
that.
offended.
Oh my
You
gosh.
misogynistic pig.
I am reporting you to the cancel culture police. You are such a pig. That's what he said. He said, and he sounded like that too. It was kind of weird.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wendy deserves a break. Brock does not deserve a break. Brock never asked for a break, to be honest with you.
My entire life, I've never had a dishwasher that worked for an extended period of time.
Well, you should get remarried then.
We've promised each other that no matter what, because we've been together for so many decades, no matter what, we just won't get remarried. So I guess I'll have to be doing dishes here if anything ever happens. She finally leaves me.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's a big show today. We're talking about Israel. I'm not gonna. We took a survey. So just for those who don't know, I'll tell. This is the inside track for the Rumble Army. I'm not gonna say this on the radio, but for you guys, I'll go ahead and tell you up front. I've been doing the research, and it's a topic I'm very familiar with. I had enough content that after I got it all together and started looking through it and plotting it out, I could have done 6 or 7 hours on this. Okay. And decided obviously not to do that. So chopped it down. Talked to Brock, looked in the chat. It is an important topic, but I am very undecided as to whether to just put do it for 10 minutes. I could do it for an hour. I could do it for 2 hours. I could do it for 3 hours. I could talk about it all day. I could do a marathon. I could filibuster. Okay.
Oh, boy.
So it's your all's call. Let me know in the chats. I'm not going to be able to watch the chats, but Brock will see. We'll get a consensus. How long do we want to talk about Israel? Because there's a lot going on today. A lot.
All right, here we go.
Five, four, three, two, one. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
You know, you can be in the middle of a hurricane.
I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress.
People can yell at you.
So I am going to tell you that we have to Trump.
North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things.
We're living in a different world. 70% of Americans say Trump is doing what he promised to do.
And in this business, right is still right. Even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program. Filling in for Wendy Bell from Patriot TV, J.D. Rucker.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending upon where you are in the world, in the United States of America. Hopefully the vast majority of you are, but even if you're not, it's okay. You don't have to feel bad just because you're not us. We don't feel bad because you're not us. So we're even there. I am JD Rucker. I'm your guest host for today and tomorrow only. There's been a lot of complaints. A lot of people have called in and said, you know what? Something happened to Wendy. Her voice is darker. Her hair is shorter. And she looks like she's half Asian. For those of you listening on the radio, you're like, wait, I can't see him. Where is everybody getting this information? They're probably getting it from Rumble or X or someplace like that, or maybe they're looking me up. Who knows? Doesn't matter. I just love to be here. I love this audience. People have been reaching out to me asking where they can hear my show. You will be able to hear my show, not on the radio, but you will be able to hear my show on Rumble and various places. Starting next week, we are returning to the standardized airwaves, and we are going to be following the Wendy Bell radio program. So we will be right after Wendy Bell. As soon as her show is over, my show will start, and that's what we're going to do. I'm super excited because I used to do this all the time, nonstop. I had enough shows. There was at one point, my longest stretch I was doing, and it was only for maybe a month and a half because I was just filling in. But my longest stretch, I was doing 6 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and then another two and a half. It was a little bit less structured, but I was doing it 7 days a week. I was doing 2.5 hours on the weekends on top of 6 hours a day, Monday through Friday. Today you got me for 3 hours. We're going to do 3 hours. No, we're not going to be doing 3 hours of just Israel. I know some of you are disappointed. I know most of you are breathing a sigh of relief. You're like, whoosh, we really thought that JD was going to talk about it for 3 hours. Nope, no, there's too much going on. Number one. And number two, the premise behind the show, the whole reason that I wanted to do this show in the first place was because there's this so-called MAGA civil war, right? There's this, you got on one side, you got the people that are basically anti-Israel or against Israel. You got the people that are pro-Israel, and they are the loudest people in the room. My contention, and I don't think I'm wrong with this, my contention is that the vast majority of us are sort of in the middle in the whole I don't really care zone. It's not that we don't care. It's like, oh, we don't care about Israel. We like them a little bit, or we don't like them a little bit, or whatever. It's more along the lines of, yeah, they're there. you can have your opinion about them, but we don't let whatever that opinion is drive everything. Okay. Which, again, the loudest people in the room, when you got Tucker Carlson versus Ben Shapiro, when you got Megyn Kelly versus Mark Levin, when you've got Thomas Massey versus Ted Cruz, when you've got, these different sides, they are so loud and they've got huge audiences, and they really focus everything on discussions, either pro-Israel or anti-Israel, whatever, and everything's Israel, Israel, Israel. The vast majority, and again, this is my contention, maybe I'm wrong, the vast majority of us, we might have our opinions about Israel, but we're more worried about gas prices. We're more worried about election fraud that's apparently happening in California, which I'll talk about here in a minute. We're more worried about how much, if any, jail time is John Bolton going to get. And it looks like it's probably going to be nil. He's going to pay a fine, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But more importantly, we're more worried about what our kids are doing, what our friends are doing, what our family is doing, what we're going to do next week, what we're going to eat for dinner tonight, what we're going to watch on Netflix. We're not, the vast majority, I believe, of Americans, especially conservatives, we're just not as into the whole Israel thing as everybody else is. So yes, I have enough notes and enough knowledge about the topic to fill the aforementioned 6-hour show. And we used to do that, by the way, just to be clear. I was asking Brock before the show, I'm like, do you guys ever just do like one topic? It's like, yeah, not really. We do a bunch of topics, which I love doing. I love bouncing around. Okay. I read so much that it's like, yeah. Oh, you want to talk about that? I've got an opinion about that. Oh, you want to talk about that? I've got an opinion about that. And then if there's a topic that I don't know, I'll say it. I actually don't know much about that. Tell me more. But when it comes to Israel, yeah, I could probably talk about, again, not just the country, the nation of Israel. I'm talking about the entire divide, the thing that we're seeing, the discussion points, the debates, the arguments. Where are they coming from? Who's at fault? All that stuff. Yeah, I could talk about that. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to put you all through that, not for 3 hours. We're going to devote some time to it today because that is the topic that I'm prepared for. But as with any day, it's always good to come in with backups. And praise God, today there's a bunch of backups. I mean, Brock was texting me at 2 a.m. He's like, hey, check this out. Check this out. I'm like, I'm doing Israel today, Brock. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, check this out. Check this out. It's like, all right. And then I looked and he's right. There's a lot of stuff going on today. I don't think that I should do an entire show on Israel. Just like tomorrow, I was planning on doing an entire show on UFOs. And considering, again, the nature of this show, the nature of the Wendy Bell audience, it's probably, I probably take that back down a notch, and we'll do about an hour. We'll do about an hour on UFOs. And that's a topic. I think I could talk about Israel. I could talk about UFOs. We could call it just a straight up filibuster. Okay. Just put me in the Senate. Okay. Put me on the floor and just say, talk about UFOs. And I will, like, the entire Senate will eventually leave because I'll just be talking. It'll be like hour 54. I'll be wearing my adult diaper and it'll be like, and that's all I got to say about that. And I'll look around and it'll be empty because nobody wants to hear 54 hours of me talking about UFOs. But I will talk about it for about an hour tomorrow. What is the UFO phenomenon? What's happening? Should we be worried? Should we be excited? Should we go see the Steven Spielberg movie? Is it aliens? Is it demons? Is it extra-dimensional creatures? Is it the U.S. government? Is it the Chinese government? Is it the deep state? Are they coming from space? Are they coming from underwater? Are they really spaceships? Are they drones? Are they illusions? Oh my gosh, I could talk about, again, for those who don't know, my background, my history with these shows is, I would say, about 60% politics with about 10 to 20% culture and the rest of it whatever that math comes out to, 20, 30%. The rest of it would be a combination of biblical, faith-driven talk and conspiracy theories. I love a good conspiracy theory. And I'm not talking about, oh, Earth is flat, or they Paul McCartney died in the 60s in a car crash and was replaced by a doppelganger because they wanted the Beatles to continue to print money. And as it turned out, he was a better singer than Paul McCartney. I'm not into those types of conspiracy theories. I'm more, I don't know, more normal as we conspiracy theorists can get. So the longer talks, and just here, I'll give you guys a perfect example of when I say a longer talk. Way back when, before anybody had ever talked about the pandemic treaty. Do you guys remember that? Obviously it's still in effect. It's now in effect, and it was quietly pushed. But before anybody was talking about it, okay, I had a doctor on who alerted me to it. This is back in January of, I forgot the year. Was it 2023, 24? I don't know. Whatever year it was, he started talking. He was telling me about it. He's like, I didn't even see this. I discovered this, and here's what it looks like. We talked about it for a little while. And then finally, everybody started talking about it, I think that following March or April. And so I went and did a deep dive into the pandemic treaty, and I ended up doing an entire week on it. This was back in those days. I was doing 2-hour shows. So that was approximately 10 hours talking on one subject. We won't do that to the Wendy Bell Radio audience. You guys deserve a smorgasbord, a buffet line of talking points and discussions. And I'm good with that too. Look, I can talk for a long time about one topic. I can talk for in 30-second bits, rapid fire, just boom, boom, boom. So that's what we're going to do. My name is JD Rucker. I am the guest host today and tomorrow, and I'm going to make the most of it. So stay tuned. We will be right back here on the Wendy Bell Radio program. There we go. I think Brock breathed a sigh of relief hearing that I wasn't going to be doing 6 straight hours of Israel talk.
Well, I would have cut you off at 3 anyway, so.
I meant talking to tomorrow too.
Disinfectwithsniper.com, disinfectwithsniper.com. If you feel dirty after listening to JD's, hose yourself off with some disinfectwithsniper.com. Get the sniper, get the knock out the smells. It works on athlete's foot. It works on pretty much anything. SARS, anything you can get in the hospital, Disinfect with Sniper works. It just works. You can also, if you go to that site, you can get your 250 flag. They're on sale this month. Also, all the Harmony stuff for your plants, fertilizer, seed starter. You can get all that disinfectwithsniper.com. You can also get the spices for Father's Day. He's doing the whole pack for I think $100. So you're going to save like 20%. So go to disinfectwithsniper.com and get your sniper. It's worth the investment. It's worth it. Works on athlete's foot, which I had this morning, and I sprayed it, and I'm not itchy anymore.
Get your snipe on if you have Brock's feet.
Which is better for kitty litter? I use both, to be honest with you. I spray the top of the kitty litter box. I can't stand the smell of kitty litter.
I love it. I love kitty litter. The fuller the better.
JD didn't say the pledge, did he?
No, I got it. I saw it. I'm fixing it. The funny part is I actually have it worked into my. You'll see. You guys will see. You'll understand why. It was supposed to be part of my Israel intro. So since we didn't do since we made the snap decision right before, literally
There's no
seconds
snap
before
decision.
going live.
I still sent you stuff because I find it interesting, and I need to do something in the morning.
Why don't you fix your dishwasher?
Because I ordered it and it's having someone else install it, so I don't have to. I don't like to touch electric, and mine's hardwired in. So, Brock plus electric near water, that's a no-go. All right, here we go.
All right, it is time. It is time. It is time to say the pledge. The Pledge of Allegiance. Y'all ready? I know you think I skipped it, but I put it on hold because you'll understand why here in a second. I'm going to say it a little bit differently. I'm going to say it the way that it's written, not the cadence that we've been taught since junior high. This is the way that it's actually supposed to. Well, I don't know about supposed to be. You can say it however you want to say it. But this is the way that it's written. Okay, you ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, that sounds different from the standard cadence that we would normally go with, that we were taught again as children, that it's whenever we're reciting it in public, that it's done in the Pledge Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. See, here's the thing, is that when we say it like that, when we use that cadence, technically speaking, we're breaking it up in a way that's unnatural because we're pledging allegiance to the republic on which it stands. We're pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. When we do the cadence, we say, to the flag of the United States of America, semicolon, basically, is the way that we say it. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Are you with me on this? Like it's like we separate out that the pledge is actually not just to the flag, but also to the republic on which it stands. Now, the reason that I bring this up is because when we look at, like, are the words the same? You betcha. They absolutely are. But there's a difference there. There's a gap between the way that we would say it if we'd never heard it before. If somebody just handed you a piece of paper and you'd never heard the pledge, you never read the pledge, and they said, read this out loud, you would say the first clause, then you would go to the next one, and it would be different from the way that we're taught. The same thing can be said in many ways about our relationship with the state of Israel. We often can say the same thing and see the same thing, but understand it completely differently. I'll give you an example as we go into today's partial episode about Israel. I'll give you an example. There's a term that has been used in a derogatory fashion for a long time. This isn't new. It's not like, oh, it just turned derogatory because Candace Owens started saying it or whatever, or whoever, Nick Fuentes. No, it has been used as a derogatory term for what, centuries, depending upon who's saying it. And to those who don't view it as a derogatory term, it's not. That word is Zionist. Now, by definition, a Zionist is somebody who believes that the state of Israel can independently exist, okay? That they have the right to have a nation that is self-determined, that is theirs. Which means that, technically speaking, an anti-Zionist believes that Israel should not exist. Now, somewhere along the lines, and this is more recent, like the derogatory nature has been around, like I said, for centuries. But somewhere along the line, we have made it to where, oh, if you must be a Zionist, and we say it negatively, or you must be an anti-Zionist, and we say it negatively. But if we're looking at the actual definitions, I don't think that most of the people that preach to be Zionists are actually understanding what the word Zionist means. And I would definitely argue that those who claim to be anti-Zionists aren't really fully understanding what that means. I would argue that those who are, whether you are one of these people or not, if you are against, for example, Israeli interference, you might think, oh, I'm against Israeli interference in the United States, therefore I'm an anti-Zionist. Really? So what you're saying is that because you don't want AIPAC influencing American politics, you believe that Israel should not be a nation and the Jews should be scattered or killed. No, of course I don't believe that. Well, that's what you're saying. Not intentionally, but it's based upon the label. And conversely, if you were to say that, let's say, well, I could dwell on this topic for a long time, and I'm not going to. This is a rabbit hole. I just wanted to get that out there and make sure that we understand, because I'm not going to be using many labels today as we talk about this. I'm not going to go down that road because generally they're wrong, and even when they're right, they're used wrong. That sucks. I'm not going to call anybody an anti-Semite. I'm not going to say anybody is a Israeli firster. We're not going to be talking about the woke right. This is just the problem. The reason the temperature on Israel is so high is because, again, those two loudest factions on one side or the other, who happen to be extraordinarily popular, they are both making it about absolutes. They're taking away the nuance altogether. And while I've always been more of a, what you call me an extremist or a radical, if I'm conservative, I'm very conservative. If I'm Christian, I'm very Christian. If I prefer pizza over hamburgers, I will never have a hamburger again. I'm kind of an extremist in that regard. But when it comes to this particular topic, I can see the extremists on both sides. And it's like, I don't agree with either of them completely, nor do I disagree with either of them completely. And as I said in the beginning, I think that this encompasses the vast majority of Americans. Now, some ground rules before we get to the break and before we get to the actual meat of the discussion. I'm not going to be going into anything biblical or eschatology, nothing like that. We're not going to be talking about biblical Israel or Genesis or anything like that. That's a discussion for my show. This is a secular discussion. We're going to be talking about the politics, the geopolitics, and most importantly, how it is tearing apart the MAGA movement and tearing apart, as a result, the United States of America. That's my focus for today. Number two, we're going to keep it civil. Right here. We'll be back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Yes. Yeah, I'm not, you know what? I probably shouldn't even look at the chat today. I don't think I will. Brock, can you monitor the chat today?
No,
I didn't think so. I always ask, it's every time I ask Brock anything, it's always too much. He's got his lane.
I have buttons to push.
Oh, I'm teasing, dude.
I know, I'm kidding.
I'm teasing about you kidding.
I watched the chat here and there. I saw someone put multiple
from time to time.
Brock, take a day off or take a vacation. Don't tell me what to do. I don't need a vacation. Listen, I worked in a job that I did not like for the longest time. And yes, I used all 30 days of vacation I had. I don't need one right now. 3 days, if I can get a Friday, Saturday, Sunday every once in a while, that's good enough for me. And just like that, 1 gold bar, 2 gold bars, that's good enough for me. And if you want to get gold bars, you can go to Texas Bullion or WendyLovesGold.com. You can call 855-927-5557, 855-927-5557. That's a phone number that's just for Wendy Bell Radio listeners, just for you guys to call and talk to them, see about getting gold and silver in your 401k or getting the tangible gold and silver in your hands. You can open IRAs with it. Like there's so much that they can help you with. If you just give them a call, they'll be able to walk you through it, tell you what you can and can't afford and need and don't need. They now have coins, a limited supply of coins for new clients with Wendy's signature on them. But call them, give them a call. Ask them about their protection plans. Ask them how to get it in your IRA. They'll be able to answer all of them. All the questions you have about gold, silver, palladium, all of them. 855-927-5557. 855-927-5557. Give them a call. Find out how to make yourself rich. That's what I'm going for.
You want to make yourself rich?
Yeah.
Off of
buy
gold and
buy
silver?
buy low and sell high.
Oh, I always looked at gold and silver as a nice and permanent portable way of storing wealth.
Yes. That and lead.
That's definitely a way of acquiring wealth in the end times, the apocalypse.
If you call
acquiring
Wendy loves gold, then you're gonna need some other precious metals to protect said gold and silver.
Today's going to be an unpopular show, isn't it? I'm going to lose a lot of people because I'm going to piss everybody off. That's the problem. Is that
what it is?
If I'm going to be in the middle and say I'm going to rip on both sides, and so unfortunately, most people are on one side or the other nowadays. I mean, not as passionately.
I just think this is one of those topics that I don't think most people are on one side or the other. I know I'm not. I'm not on one side. I don't get it. I don't know all the geopolitical BS that goes with it. There's like you said, there's certain things that you agree with on this side. There's certain things you agree with on that side, and I think we all just want common sense. And AIPAC, hey, I'm about getting all money out of politics, all of it. Tom Steyer spending over $200 million to come in third place as of right now is ridiculous. You're running to help the people. What could you have done with the $200 million you just threw away? What kind of help could you have done then? You shouldn't need $1.4 billion to lose a presidential election.
There you go. Preach, brother. Preach. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what comes out more about this Graham Allen. There's more coming out. And search Scott Besson on X.
You mean Plattner, right?
Plattner, I'm sorry. Search, what did I say?
Graham Allen.
Oh, that's because I saw him on Rumble. Yeah, Graham Plattner. Search Scott Besson.
What's happening with Graham Allen? What did he do? Search
Scott Besson on X and see some of the clips of him going after Widener? Is that how you say his name? His son was involved with Jeffrey Epstein, and I absolutely love Scott Besson. Probably one of my favorite cabinet members.
Nice. And he loves you.
Did you say he was gonna?
Oh, and
you were gonna punch him in the. What's that?
It's Ron Wyden.
Wyden. Did you say you were gonna punch him in the face? No, I said I was gonna kick his ass. Oh, Scott Besson.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. We still have time. I'm going over. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. I am your guest host for the day, for the rest of the week. Here all week, JD Rucker. You can check out my stuff over at jdrucker.com. It is a site that I use to explain and express why I feel certain ways, and I put content there from various sites. It's basically like sort of like the old Drudge, I guess, except without the modern wokeness that has overtaken that site. There's a lot, maybe a few more ex posts / tweets, if you want to call them that. I've been doing news aggregation for a long time. And this is why I am a firm believer that regardless of one's opinion about Israel, that it's not resonating. Like, in other words, it's getting more attention because of the loud voices out there on one side or the other. It's getting more attention because of that than the actual level of attention the American people pay to it. The reason that I know this is because I work with a site. I am an editor of a site called thelibertydaily.com. It too, it's actually more like a Drudge clone, right? To be fair, I don't own the site. I'm only one of the editors, but I do account for about anywhere from 40 to 60% of the content on a given day. With that said, there are other people on the site, other editors, including the owner, who have different views. Like, you want to see a quote unquote civil war, just read the pages of the Liberty Daily. You might have a video of Nick Fuentes saying what he says, and then right underneath it is a story about how Israel is, I don't know, something positive about Israel. It's a very weird mix. But what I have, and the reason that I have this quote unquote insight into what people understand, what they like and don't like, is because, this site, which gets hundreds of thousands of visitors every day, I'm able to look at the clicks. I can see what the people are interested in. I can see, oh, okay, so this story resonates. This story resonates. This story definitely did not. Like, for example, perfect example was this morning. I posted the story about how Israel and Lebanon the U.S. had brokered a major peace agreement between them. This is different, or ceasefire, I should say. This is very different from past ones, which they lasted for about none, right? It's like, okay, we've got a ceasefire. Never mind. Somebody attacked somebody, right? It seemed to last for no, but this one was supposedly solid. And this, of course, comes on the heels of President Trump lambasting Netanyahu, confirmed that he told him, you're effing this and blinking that and blah, blah, blah. Why this is, he actually told Netanyahu that because you guys are attacking Lebanon, this is why everybody hates you, hates Israel. And Netanyahu it's funny because there's on the other side, the anti-Zionist side, they say, oh, Netanyahu owns Trump and he's Trump's daddy. I remember when that meme was coming out for a while. He's Trump's daddy, tells Trump what to do. And then like this story comes out, and all of a sudden those people that were like, oh, let's talk about Candace Owens. She's in Russia right now. Let's talk about her. She's representing the family model, the nuclear family, and talking about how wokeness has taken over the United States. And if you didn't know, that's a true story. Right now, Candace Owens is speaking, I think literally right now, about family values, about rebuilding the nuclear family in the United States and fighting this woke takeover in Western culture. Okay, and she's in Russia. Basically they're calling it like Putin's G20, right? Well, they're talking about this stuff. And here's the important part. I don't care. If there's one overarching message today, it's this: that you might disagree with Ben Shapiro about Israel, or you might disagree with Tucker Carlson about Israel. And they both seem to make that a core issue with a bunch of the stuff that they talk about. And they're very loud about it. They have huge audiences. But for those of us who aren't Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson, we should be able to acknowledge that if we are America First patriots, if we're conservatives, if we're Republicans, if you're a libertarian, whatever you are, that you probably agree with, regardless of which side you're on, you probably agree with somewhere between 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of what the other guy is saying. I know a lot of people out there are like, oh my gosh, Candace Owens is crazy. She's going after Erica Kirk. She's going after everybody. Yeah, I know there've been some strange things. And if you saw her numbers, by the way, like, you'll understand why she's going after these things. But at the end of the day, her perspectives on certain things, for example, like the nuclear family, are any of us going to object? Are any of us going to say, no, America needs to be more woke and we need more same couple parents, and we need more single parents. We don't need marriage. None of us are going to say that. We're all going to agree with Candace Owens on that particular topic. The focus for so long, and I say so long, it's really only been about a year, but the focus for what feels like a very long time has been on, they're attacking, he's an Israeli first, or no, he's part of the woke right. No, she's, doing this and going crazy about this. And oh no, he's over there going crazy. I was going to say something else. We're on radio, going crazy about something else. When in reality, the topics that matter to us aren't that divisive, not at least amongst ourselves. We have enemies. They're called globalists. They're called leftists. They're called powers and principalities, demons. They're called Democrats. We have very powerful enemies already. So my hope is that this whatever you want to call it, the split amongst MAGA, these attacks that are stupid in many cases, sometimes they're righteous, but a lot of times they're not. It's petty, back and forth. I was ashamed about the conservative movement when I was watching the idiocy between Mark Levin and Megyn Kelly. It's like these guys are supposed to be paragons of conservative thought. Really? I mean, they're going after each other like, school children would be embarrassed by how immature they were being towards each other. It was like a middle school cat fight. It was the dumbest thing. And it kept happening. I think it's still happening. I muted them both. I don't listen to either of them at all anymore. At all. And it's not because I disagree with them wholeheartedly in either direction. It's because they've made it about their identities and they've made it about Israel. I understand that Israel is important. Obviously it is. But is it important enough to divide us ahead of an election? To divide us at a time when our real opponents, our real enemies, oftentimes will not only want to, but will act upon their desire to kill us, to actually kill us, to kill a president, our president. No, I got bigger fish to fry than Zionists or anti-Zionists. I've got more important foes that are actually true, legitimate foes. I don't have to worry. I don't want to. I shouldn't say I don't have to, because apparently I do have to worry. That's why we're doing the show. But I don't want to have to worry about an Israel firster or a woke writer, wokester. I don't even know what to call them anymore. I don't care. And that's not to diminish the arguments. And we're going to get into the arguments after the break, because the arguments, the funny part is that, yeah, they're right about this. And yes, they're right about that. And yes, they're wrong about this and they're wrong about that. And that's just my opinion. And it doesn't even matter. And here's the thing. Neither does technically your opinion or their opinion or anybody's opinion. Not when it comes to that. Not when we're facing actual legitimate existential threats. There was apparently a debate. I didn't watch it. But there was apparently a debate just last week or something between I don't even know how to frame them anymore, but however they are, the anti-Israel, pro-Israel, right? conservatives all across the board, or at least we'll call them patriots, libertarians, patriots, conservatives, Republicans, various types of patriots, just not radical leftists, right? And they had this big debate, and a lot of people were talking about it. I'm like, why are we talking about that? Who cares? This is a nation the size of New Jersey, with a population of, about, I think, less than New Jersey. It's a nation that, yes, they have a lot of influence worldwide. Yes, they have a lot of biblical significance, which we're not going to talk about today. Yes, they have a lot of conspiracies surrounding them. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, any conspiracy that you bring up about Israel or any of them, it's just wrong. It's anti-Semitism. I'm not going to say that, because some of the conspiracies are true. At least I believe they're true. But a lot of them, this whole controlling Trump, this whole everything that we're hearing, it's ludicrous. Not when we compare it to the actual threats. Now, a lot of people will point to the Iran war, and they will say that the only reason we're in the Iran war is because Israel said that we had to be. On the one side, they'll say, no, this is our war. And on the other side, no, this is Bibi's war. We're just following suit. The funny part about that particular topic is that it's somewhere in the middle. Would we be in this war if it wasn't for Israel? No. Did we get into this war because Israel prompted us to? No. There's a nuance. And that's all I'm asking. I'm just asking you for a smidgen of, let's look at the facts. Let's talk about common sense. And hopefully, I pray to God that by the end of the show, you will be able to say, you know what? We do have bigger fish to fry. We do have more important issues facing the United States of America today. We don't have to focus all of our attention on this tiny little state of Israel. There are more important nations to focus on, in particular, the United States of America. We'll be right back here on the Wendy Bell radio program. It is so hard, Brock, and I guess everybody, but Brock, it is so hard for me to not talk biblically. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to save that for next week. Next week, I'll talk biblically about this topic because there are other implications. Today, we're going to keep it geopolitical, because I know that the Wendy Bell show, you guys, for the most part, you would call this a secular show, right? It's a secular political show.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we all have our beliefs, and I try not to mix my faith with my politics. I try to step aside and say what's best for Brock personally and what's best for the country politically. And you want to see people get pissed off? It's me saying I'm not for abortion, but I don't think it's a hill we die on politically to move the country forward. That'll piss a bunch of people off. There you go. You can all go after me in the chat now. But don't do that until you hear about bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I took mine this morning. I take it every day. It gives me energy. I know Wendy talks about it, helping her at the gym. I know we've had a ton of testimonials with people saying it's helped them get energy back. One person sent a testimonial and said it helped with their blood pressure. So check them out, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. You don't have to get the XXX. They also have the regular where you take 2 a day. Does the same thing. Obviously, XXX is just a little more amped up, but it keeps me from napping. And anymore, when my head hits the pillow, I'm out, which has never been the case. So I assume it's the Bloodflow 7. So bloodflow7.com/Wendy. They have a bunch of products there. But check them out. I think it makes a difference. I can tell a difference in my life. A lot of you have sent in, can tell a difference in their life. Wendy can tell a difference in her life with just at the gym. So give them check them out, bloodflow7.com/Wendy.
Yes. Okay. I'll go ahead and let's look in the chat. As if you're in the chat now, I'm going to be reading it for the next 30 seconds. So spew whatever you'd like to say to me now. Faith must be a part of politics. Absolutely. So again, during my show, I lead with my faith. My faith drives every single aspect of my life, not just my politics. It drives my culture, my family. Every decision that I make is done through a biblical lens. But for today's show, for Wendy Bell's show, which, this is respect for the show. It's not about me. This is respect for the audience that she's built. You are accustomed to talking about politics and culture through a secular lens. So we're going to do that. And there's plenty of content about that. Again, I'll talk about biblical Israel, eschatological Israel, all that stuff next week on my show. We don't have to pray through today's show. So just I made it through one comment and we're almost out of time first, aren't we? Let's see.
Yes. All right. Here we go. 5 seconds.
It's funny because during the break, I'm thinking to myself, there's so much happening. I always check the news during the break, see what else is happening. And yes, as I noted before, John Bolton has officially, technically speaking, he is now a convicted felon. He took a plea deal. Over his classified documents case. For those who don't remember, and if you ever forget anybody, there's two people you should always forget. Okay, you should always forget John Bolton, and you should always forget Karl Rove. Those are the two people to always forget. But in case you did forget, he was at one point during Trump's first administration the National Security Advisor. He was the NSA, and he really wanted us to bomb Cuba because he's always wanted us to bomb Cuba. During 9/11, after 9/11, he's like, okay, while we're over there, before we go to Iraq, we should really look at Cuba. Okay, picture this. And I don't know. It's sort of a weird obsession that he's always had. But yes, he has now pled guilty to felony charge of illegal retention of sensitive national security documents. He has reportedly agreed to pay a fine, no jail time, a fine exceeding $2 million as part of the plea deal. So I guess there's that. That seems to be the case, does it not? That the elites, they can buy their way out of jail. I would have to go to jail. I don't have $2 million to pay for a fine. So, but I guess John Bolton does because he made the deal. I don't think he would have made the deal if it wasn't for that. There was a switching gears a little bit away from Israel for now. We will return to it. Don't worry. But I thought this was hilarious. This actually happened yesterday. But for those who don't know, there was a murder, okay, during an Eid service in Minneapolis last week, and a Muslim was murdered. And you had a whole bunch of people, including obviously the standard politicians, were out there saying, "Oh my gosh, Islamophobia! It's Islamophobia." They attacked this poor Muslim who was just out there speaking peacefully, and then there's this shooting. It took place at Canterbury Park at this Muslim event, and we've got to stop this hatred towards the Muslims. And Senator Amy Klobuchar was out there just like, oh my gosh, this is the way. Actually, I don't want to quote her, and it's not a quote. Let me find her quote. On this Eid al-Adha, I'm thinking of Minnesota's Muslim community and all those gathered in prayer today, especially following today's tragic shooting. At a prayer service at Canterbury Park, my thoughts are with the victims' family and the entire community. And she started screaming about Islamophobia, Islamophobia, Islamophobia. Then you might think, why haven't I heard about this story? That's weird. I haven't heard, because I hadn't heard about it. Why haven't I heard about the story? Well, it turns out that the suspected shooter, and I'm not making this up. You could try to make this up if you want, but I don't think you can. I don't think anybody can make this up. This is how awesome it is. The suspected shooter's name is Mohammed Rage, R-A-G-E. Mohammed Rage, 28, is facing one count of second-degree murder, as well as illegal weapons charges, according to the criminal complaint filed in Scott County on Monday. Now, somebody died, so I don't want to make, oh, that's so funny. It's not funny when anybody dies. But it's a little funny. Not that he died, but it's a little funny that the framing was this way, and then all of a sudden the story disappears as soon as we find out that the shooter was named Mohammed Rage. Good news came out this morning. I love good news. We need more good news. Came out this morning, and I had reposted it very early, and it's funny because there's certain things that if you repost it on X, it'll, like my what do they call notifications, blow up. I have to turn them off on the phone. I don't have a very popular X account, but certain retweets will just blow up. And this one had like hundreds, thousands of people were retweeting and putting out there because it's good news. We need more good news in America. We really do. This came from Tulsi Gabbard. She said, my husband Abraham was diagnosed with a very rare sacral chordoma. The surgery to remove bone and surrounding tissue lasted almost 7 hours and was successful. He had a rough night and is in a lot of pain, but is finally home resting. Now recovery begins. We're so grateful for the outpouring of prayers and kind messages from all of you. Our hearts are full. I had noted, and I'll probably continue noting for weeks, months. It'll be 2029. And I'll be like, oh man, I really miss the days when Tulsi Gabbard was director of national intelligence, when she was declassifying RFK and JFK and MLK and Epstein. She was finally bringing transparency. We haven't had anything like it ever since then. I'll still be reminiscing because don't forget, in case you missed earlier in the week, I was a skeptic. I didn't like the call. Okay. I was very skeptical. I thought, I'm not sure if I trust Tulsi Gabbard, and she turned out to be arguably the most effective and patriotic member of President Trump's team. I don't think that's hyperbole. I think that she's at least up there. She's in the conversation because she did what she was supposed to do, and she did it very well. And we should all pray for her and her husband as they go through this time. I hope that it's a full recovery. I hope it's a speedy recovery. And she says, hey, I'm back. That would be nice. But family first, right behind God. All right. That was my short version of some outside news. After the break, we are going to return to discussing more Israel stuff. And we're going to get a little bit, I guess you could say, controversial on the topic of Israel. So stay tuned. Come right back right here on the Wendy Bell radio program. Yeah, I was wrong about Tulsi Gabbard. I was right about everybody else. Literally everybody else. The ones that I liked turned out to be good. Okay.
Who didn't you like?
I did not like Pam Bondi. That's for sure. When that one came out, I was all over X. I'm like, are you kidding me? Blah, blah, blah. Pam Bondi, do you even know what she does? And this is so silly. This is going to tank the entire DOJ. And yeah, I went into rant mode over Pam Bondi. You know who else I didn't like? Kristi Noem. Like, what in the world does she even know about border security and running department? So I'm 2 for 1.
I'll tell you,
of the 3 that I did like, I only got one of them very wrong. That was Tulsi Gabbard. The other 2 were awful.
Lee Zeldin has been fantastic.
Lee Zeldin has been fantastic at the EPA. He is
cutting regulations.
He's actually cutting regulations. Yeah, he's doing great. I like him. I don't even remember who the original EPA guy was. I remember politicians and bureaucrats. I could tell you who served under who doing what and what their failures were and stuff like that. I don't remember who the EPA director under Trump's first administration was. They were worthless, apparently.
Yes.
They were worthless. And the previous DNI was worthless. And guess what? He's back in the administration. He's now the he's now the director of the CIA.
Radcliffe?
Yeah. Yeah, he was in Tulsi's, well, formerly Tulsi's role. So silly. Silly stuff.
What's your take on Susie Wiles?
So I did an interview a couple years ago. So I have a tainted view of her. I think it's wrong. I think that my view, but I haven't spoken about her publicly. I had interviewed attorney Tom Renz.
We've had him on the show.
Yeah, he's great. But he did an expose. He talked for 2 hours about how this is before the election. He's talking because she was running his campaign. He's like, she's a rhino. She's going to be bringing in all these bad people into. If he wins, she's going to bring these bad people into the administration. It's going to be worse than Corey Lewandowski. It's going to be terrible and yada yada yada. So far, I have no complaints about her. She's a very private person, right? We know that. She stays out of the spotlight. You know, I'm friends with Mark Meadows, the former last chief of staff in the first administration. I know that he's had some challenges, but I mean, he's doing something separate. I was going to have him on this week, but I did not have him on next week.
Pam Bondi was her hire.
Yeah, but don't forget. Well, but don't forget, she was an emergency hire.
Yeah, he wanted Matt Gaetz.
Didn't get him.
I wanted Matt Gaetz too.
Yeah, me too. But oh well. Okay, let me go in the chat.
While you do that, I will tell you the one way to keep your house in order is to call Ireland Contracting. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. If you need a roof, if you need siding, soffit, fascia, windows, doors, they do it all. If you're in southwestern Pennsylvania, these are guys to go talk to. They're fair. They're good people. They give you an estimate. It's good for a year. So if I had a guy ask me, who do you recommend for roofs? And I told him, and he called them, and they came out, and he told the guy, you don't need a roof just yet. He's like, and then he said, what about this part of my roof? He goes, well, that's a rubber roof. We don't do rubber roofs, and he gave him the info. He gave him the info because they're just good people. He gave him info to go to somewhere else. Says, we trust these guys. We know these guys. And it's exactly what he did. So 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com, soffit, fascia, siding, downspouts, gutters, roofs. Dan does the electrical work for all your outside lighting needs. So give them a call, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com.
Are they Amish?
They have Amish installers. They are not Amish. They're good people. They're good people.
I want to get an Amish sponsor for my show. And I want Amish contractors.
Do the Amish come to California?
I don't think they're allowed.
I was going to say the same thing. They have restrictions on everything else.
I got you, Red Rush.
Would Red Rush
better not be something bad. I never click on links. Oh, site can't be reached. Weird. See, that's why you don't click on links. I tried. That was my one link click of the day.
You ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, I clicked on it. Oh, you know why? I see why. No. Never mind. It might not be bad. I might have been premature. Stand by. Okay, got it. Okay, I will check that out. The way that they have it in Rumble, it was not clickable. So, but I got it. Thank you, Redush. I was gonna say Red Rush. Red Rum. Red Ush. Redush. Hammerhead 2020. Gotcha. Funny stuff.
Okay.
I love the chat.
Five, four, three, two, one. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program. Filling in for Wendy Bell from Patriot TV, J.D. Rucker.
Patriot TV, which you can find at patriot.tv, is just one of my many sites. The best place to go is always going to be jdrucker.com because I link to everywhere. If I post something on Patriot TV, guess where? I link to it at jdrucker.com. If I post it to discernreport.com, I link to it from jdrucker.com or America First Report or any of the various places. I got a lot. I got too much, including my Substack, where on my Substack today, I did post about President Trump going out there and calling what do you call them? The Democrats. There we go. He said that the Democrats are trying to steal the elections in California once again. And I did a nice little write-up about that. We may talk about that close to the end of the show. It depends upon how we do with Israel. And I'm going to use this segment to talk further about the challenge. And we can really trace it back to October 7th. Okay, that's when immediately after October 7th, I got into a debate with somebody. Well, first we were in agreement by October 8th. Then by October 10th, okay, 3 or 4 days afterwards, I got into a debate with I'm not going to say who. It's somebody that everybody here knows. A host who is now, amongst the anti-Israel side. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. But we were debating, basically whose fault it was. And where we were in agreement on October 8th is the part where I will instantaneously make everybody mad if you're pro-Israel, pro-Zionist, right? I still to this day have a very hard time believing that the most secure border in the world, a border that was known for having shooting incidences because of wombats in the desert that got too close to the fence, that somehow this super extremely secure border was breached by guys in flying helicopter scooters and mopeds. Not only was it breached, but they were able to enact the most hideous, heinous carnage possible. And yet, the most secure nation on earth, not only were they not ready, not only did they not have a valid response, not only were they the military magically on the other side of this still very tiny New Jersey-sized nation, but then after it was all done, that's when That's when the survival instinct that they're famous for kicked in. I still to this day believe that somebody was involved, somebody on the Israeli side. Call it the Israeli deep state, call it whoever. I can't see that as possible. And this is where, again, because I made that statement on October 8th, I got on talking to a famous person who is vehemently anti-Zionist. And it went from nice, cordial to all of a sudden it's like, no, wait, but I'm not going down that road. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not, no, that's, and then it's like all of a sudden my Signal chat gets, I remember got a notification. It's like, now your Signal chats will be deleted after 1 week. It's like, wow, I've been chatting with this guy for years. And now all of a sudden, because we have this disagreement over, who's really to blame and whether or not there should be a response, now all of a sudden, we're not friends anymore. We've spoken one time since then, one time about a year afterwards on a completely separate topic. We were friends. Doesn't matter. Point is that it does divide us. The topic itself divides us. I don't blame Israel or the Israelis or the Jews or anybody for what happened on October 7th. But I do believe that they had help. They being the terrorists, they being Hamas, they being whoever. They had help from the inside. And I believe that while it was happening, and I believe it into this day. And now some on the Zionist side would say that makes me an anti-Semite. It doesn't. It doesn't make me an anti-Semite. Now, on the other hand, do I believe that Israel is our greatest ally in the Middle East? I do. Do I believe that we have a special relationship with them? I do. Do I think that we should protect them from the mass hatred with over 60% of the world hating Israel, with the entirety of the United Nations hating Israel? Do I think that we should use our status to block these? I know that they're mostly feckless, but they still exist. These odd demands that the United Nations always seems to make of Israel and only Israel. Yeah, you betcha. Now, I think that's reasonable because, again, it's the demands that are made by the UN, who, for whatever reason, it's like the UN is always wrong except about Israel. Then they're totally right. That's what the anti-Zionist side says. I'll be like, I disagree with the UN. They shouldn't exist. We should defund them. We should get out of them. But when they're attacking Israel, they're spot on. Love that. Doesn't make any sense to me. But because I fall into that category of supporting Israel, now all of a sudden, I'm an Israeli firster. That's what they call me. So one group says that I'm an anti-Zionist woke right because I don't just bow down to Israel. And on the other side, they say that I'm an Israeli first Zionist who hates America because I want to use our UN Security Council veto. That's the problem that we're having with this divide. It's come down to absolutes. It's like that really stupid line in, I think it was episode 3 of Star Trek, where he says, only the Sith deal with absolutes. And of course, those of us who are nerds were like, well, isn't it an absolute to say that only the Sith deal in absolutes? That's sort of the hypocrisy that's there from both sides. You're either with us or you're against us. And if you're against us, you're wholeheartedly against us. There is no nuance. I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. And I'm not going to apologize for it. What I will say is that there's a lot of discussion. There has been a lot of discussion for a while about the Israel or the Iranian war. And I would argue, based upon some pretty darn good information from some pretty darn good people, I'm not going to be one of those guys I'm just asking questions. No, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about it when it comes to why we invaded Iran. Now, there's on one side, there are those who, again, we'll call them the pro-Israel side, that say no. President Trump had made it his demands of Iran clear even before the election. He has always been very consistent about that. And the attack was his decision to make. And there are those on the other side that say, nope, this is Bibi's war. Bibi told Trump to do it, and that's why he did it. And Bibi's his daddy. When the most likely reality, and I'm saying this again from a information knowledge that I have, and again, I can't divulge this source either, but it's not a big deal. It's not like, oh, that's super secret. No, this is out there, and I think a lot of people know it, but I can say that with a very near certainty that it is true, that we definitely were planning on attacking Iran. We were. President Trump, Pete Hegseth, they looked at it. They said, they looked at the original strikes from last year. They said it didn't do what we thought it did. We came out, we said that we decimated their nuclear program. We sent it to oblivion. There's no way they can recover from this. And then within a month, they realized, oh crap, we didn't decimate their nuclear program with the bombings, because they were ready for it. They've got the uranium spread out. They've got the centrifuges spread out. They've got them buried deep. They've got them in places we don't know about. That's bad. We're going to have to stop them. And the only way that we can stop them is to do a full-fledged attack. But there's a caveat to that. There was still pushback because they were gathering the intelligence. The intelligence at the time was showing that not only were they planning on building a nuclear weapon, but that they were planning on attacking U.S. interests. Okay. So the decision had been made. Yes, we're going to attack. Unfortunately, they started trying to coordinate with Israel. And Israel said, oh, okay, cool. You guys are ready for it. Well, let's go. Okay. Get everything going. And so the United States was like, whoa. No, we're not ready yet. We're just saying that we got to get ready. Israel's like, no, we got to go now. We got to go now. And they looked at the assessment. They looked at three options. Number one, go in there with Israel. Number two, don't go in there with Israel and see what happens. Number three, abandon the Middle East altogether. Now, I honestly would have loved that one. Let's just pull all of our troops. Let's just leave that entire area of the world completely alone. Okay, close all the bases. We went with what I like to call the Leroy Jenkins option, where we saw Leroy Jenkins. We knew that he was going to go rush in. Israel was going to go attack either way. And we thought, if we don't go in with them, they're going to strike us. They're going to strike us. So did they cause the war? Yes. Did they cause the attack? No. We were going to attack either way. I'll go into more details about that after the break here on the Wendy Bell radio program. First thing I see, I go to the chat. First thing I see, JD goes great with Coke. I don't do Coke anymore. It's been so many years. No, I'm just kidding. I sometimes forget my kids watch this too. They're like, Dad, you did Coke? As in like Coca-Cola? I thought you didn't like sugar.
I thought you weren't into sodas. No, I wasn't.
I do not ingest sugar. I have not had any intentional sugar.
Really?
Not in a year?
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, there's sugars in some of the foods that I eat.
Right. But you like candy.
Well, yeah, I don't have candy. I haven't
like
had
sweet tooth.
Yeah, I don't have I never actually, even before I started trying to cut down on my carbs, I never liked sweets. I've always been salty. I've always been a savory guy.
And salty.
No, never liked sweets.
Cutting out carbs and sugars can help. And might make you eligible for Health Revolution and getting health care that works for you. If you're under 65, which JD is barely under 65, and
Thanks.
relatively healthy, we'll assume he is, you can go to info.healthrevolution.net, info.healthrevolution.net, and find out what they can do for you. Find out how they can save you money on health care. I mean, Obamacare sucks. We all know it. It's just a disaster. And you end up paying for services you don't even need. Well, not at healthrevolution.net. Info at healthrevolution.net. Go there, find out what you need. Get the insurance that you need. Not what the guy next door needs, what you need, what works for you. Can save you 30-60% compared to the Obamacare, ACA, affordable, right? Plans, no copays, reasonable deductibles, and the freedom to see any doctor you choose. It's hundreds of dollars in your pocket every month. I know I spend a ton of money on it. You don't need to wait. You know, they have an open enrollment, not with Health Revolution. Call them 1-800-868-6187, 800-868-6187, or visit info.healthrevolution.net. Find out how they can help you save money and get better insurance for what you need.
I found another word that you don't say very well. Insurance.
Insurance?
Insurance. I don't remember what yesterday's was, but it was funny.
Iron.
Yeah. I've got plenty of them. There are certain words. You can always tell when I have trouble saying a particular word because I will say it very deliberately.
So that's one of your words?
No, it's not. But I can't think of one that I would do that with.
What's the one word I hate?
Sibilance.
Irregardless. People say irregardless.
It's not a word.
Drives me bonkers. And I butcher the English language, and that drives me bonkers.
It drives me.
But JD just doesn't realize he's never had an Earn City beer.
So is Israel the good guy? Are they the bad guy? And should we even care? I'm in camp number 3. I don't care. Again, for those who missed it, I'll just quickly restate. Do I support Israel? Are they an ally? You betcha. Do I want to bow to them? Do I want them to influence us at all? Absolutely not. Not at all. Which is why now, after making all of the anti-Israel people mad, I will make the pro-Israel people mad by saying that AIPAC is disastrous for the United States of America. Foreign money, foreign interests being used to fund candidates, effectively fund candidates. They do a very good job at it. It's funny because the people that they often contribute to aren't the type of people that you would think, oh my gosh, that person is such an Israel firster. Well, if you were to listen to Thomas Massey, he would say that, well, guess what? Everybody in Congress, all of them, 100% of them, have what he calls an AIPAC babysitter. Now, I disagree. I happen to know that there are some that do not, but it's not a lot. They mostly do. The one that blew me away, I have, it didn't blow me away, sorry. I was explaining to somebody and it blew them away. We were talking about the South Carolina governor's race. And this person was saying, the whole reason I support Nancy Mace, who Trump did not endorse, the whole reason I support Nancy Mace is because she's not controlled by AIPAC. I'm like, dude, she's like one of their top recipients. They've been supporting her since she began. Like 2020, they were supporting her in her race. It's like, what? No way. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's like 10-1 them supporting her over like Ralph Norman, who's also a congressperson, also happens to be running for governor in the state of South Carolina. Both of them in Congress, both of them supported by AIPAC. She's actually far more supported by AIPAC than he is. And this, again, like I said, this blew somebody away. You don't usually think of her as like, oh my gosh, she's Israel first. Well, you know, it is what it is. I don't like it. I don't necessarily disagree with all their stances, but I don't want them or anyone else, any other foreign influence at all on our elections. At all. I don't like them to be influencing any aspect of American life. I wish if I were president with control of the House, control of the Senate, I would outlaw all of it. Okay? And I would go in both directions. I don't want us influencing anybody else's politics at all. We're a sovereign nation. We control ourselves. Nobody else does. They're a sovereign nation. They control themselves. Nobody else does, including us. That's how I would run things. Now, is that naive? Of course. Is it even possible? No, unfortunately. Not in the way the world is made today. If you're the United States of America, you're going to influence other nations. And when I say influence, I'm talking specifically about financial influence, or we could call it even CIA influence. I'm not big on color revolutions or coups or anything like that. Okay? It always works out poorly. Like 100% of the time, pretty much every time we do anything. For example, like, in 1979. Yeah, that was that ended up creating the problem that we're in today. Why? Because we installed the Shah, and the Shah was removed and replaced with the Ayatollah, the supreme leader. And we've had now to deal with that problem since 1979 because we got too involved in another country's affairs. So I don't want AIPAC here. I don't want them influencing us. I don't want them supporting candidates. I think, to me, that should be illegal. So does that mean, oh my gosh, he's one of the woke right? He hates Israel. He's an anti-Semite. Oh my gosh, if he doesn't support it. No. Again, the problem we're having, and I'll repeat this over and over again just in case you guys are listening to the entire show. The problem we're having is not that one side is completely wrong or the other side is completely wrong. The problem we're having is that they both think that each other is completely wrong, and they both have the mentality of, if you're not with us, you're against us. Therefore, you're either an anti-Semite or you're Israeli firster. That's how they label everybody. There is no nuance. There is no subtlety. There's nothing in between. I just want to change that. We got 2 more segments of Israel stuff. That's all. So stay tuned, please. I know it's hard for some people. You don't want to hear it, and I get it. I don't want to say it. But it's got to be said because we do have a problem, and it's tearing apart America. And again, I don't even care about Israel. I care about what this MAGA revolt is doing to the United States of America. We'll talk more about it after the break here on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Sorry. I think I got so loud earlier that it made my volume go down automatically. So if you guys weren't hearing me, hey, look, they're asking, will there be bad jokes tomorrow? I will review Friday shows and determine whether or not to participate in the bad jokes. I would say probably so, because I got a lot of them.
No, that's not what they mean.
Oh, so crap. There's more?
Wendy and I's last segment every Friday is her and I reading the bad jokes that they send in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that.
No, we're not going to.
Oh, why not?
Because that's our thing.
Oh,
there's certain things that, you know what?
No, I get it. I'm not.
There's
territory. There's territory. I got it. No, I totally understand that. Totally understand that. No bad jokes tomorrow. Save them up, accumulate them for the following week when Wendy Bell is back in there. Instead, I will be, since we're not doing bad jokes, I will be
He'll be
stripping
telling
naked,
bad jokes in between.
stripping naked and being and eating bacon. Naked bacon.
I think
JD's
we can
naked
find a
bacon.
better solution than that. See, that's the nice thing sometimes about being having my position. I do get the final say. And there's certain things in this show that like Toto. No one else does it. You know, that's Wendy's thing. That's bad jokes. I don't know of any. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts or radio anymore. I don't know anyone that's doing it. Good news, we started that when we first started working together, and we've kept it through 2 radio stations, 2 firings, and doing this here. So like those are the things that's the one thing we kept was good news to end Fridays with.
Nice.
But bad jokes, you all know the backstory to bad jokes.
Yeah. Well, we'll just go ahead and cancel tomorrow's show.
Oh, I gotta make a phone call then.
We're gonna go fix our dishwasher.
No, I have to do that when I go home now. I just found out.
Now I'm gonna break it again tonight.
Yeah, probably. Something will go wrong. It won't get hooked up, or I'll need to go change the plumbing somewhere else, or something will happen. But I'll be able to get a good night's sleep because I can always take my rent from Healthy Cell to rejuvenate me for tomorrow. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. Check them out. They have everything from focus and recall, which Wendy takes every day. REM, she's been taking a lot more. That puts her out when she gets up, goes to the bathroom. That story she tells, not that I'm there. It puts her right back to sleep. They have hair and skin. They have the omegas. They have the immune super boost or moon boost that I take in the wintertime because we can't afford to get sick. They have a lot of things, and you don't have to take pills, and you don't have to go to Big Pharma and Pfizer. You can go to healthycell.com/Wendy. But you can build your own packages. You can buy them individually, each formula. Check them out. They have cardiovascular stuff for blood sugar, sleep, focus, immune boost. They have a ton of stuff. Calm mood. Check them out. healthycell.com/Wendy. Brock can't afford a vacation. See, it's not about the money. So I budget like everybody else. So this year, my vacation is redoing my entire backyard. I put a new deck, a new gazebo. I put a new privacy fence up. I'm putting AstroTurf down so I can enjoy it all summer. You guys don't realize that going home and sitting outside for hours is relaxing. That's my vacation. So instead of going somewhere for a week, I have my backyard area in my little oasis where I can smoke cigars and have a cocktail or a beer and just relax. But it's expensive to go places. I remember I went to spring training one year, and it was a couple grand. I was there for a week and saw crappy baseball. All right.
Israel, Israel, Israel. It's like Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. You guys remember that meme? That's what it feels like sometimes, because that seems to be the topic of discussion all the time. I'm JD Rucker, by the way, and I work with multiple groups, especially when it comes to news curation. The reason I do this is because I've been able to, I read a lot. Okay. I read anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 headlines per day through my feed of hundreds of sites. I have to. That's part of what I do. I aggregate these on my sites in different ways, different fashions, different formats. I also contribute a whole bunch of the content over at thelibertydaily.com. The irony, and the reason I bring this up, is because you can always tell the divide. You can tell when I'm working and when I'm not. And as I go to look at the top story, it's an article, happens to be an article by Joe Kent about how U.S.-Israel integration is far from America first. It's it goes in both directions, folks. It really does. As far as this obsession, the obsession of people like Joe Kent. I mean, he left the White House because of Israel. He did. It wasn't because of, they say it was a disagreement over the Iran war, but it really did come down to Israel. And he's expressed that and made that plain ever since leaving the White House. Marjorie Taylor Greene, same thing there. Yes, she did get panned. There's a little bit more to it than just Israel. She did get hit pretty hard by President Trump. And I disagreed with his assessment, because she was just going after the Epstein files, right? I mean, that's what she was going after. And then he hit her pretty hard over that, and she ended up leaving, somebody who, it's funny because I had a, we had communications, we'll say. I knew her since before she was in Congress, and we don't talk anymore. She won't, and not because of me. I reach out. She just won't reach back out to me anymore. Why? Because apparently I'm an Israeli firster, because I don't hate Israel. This is a problem, and it's a problem that I don't think is nearly as universal as the podcasterati. Is that a word? Does anybody use that? Did I just make up a word? If it is, I'm trademarking it now. Don't use it or without paying me royalties. If it is a word that's been used before, then I'm going to steal it. The data outside of the podcasterati it tells a different story from what we're being told by these super popular podcasters. The MAGA civil war is real, but maybe not necessarily as real as we thought with just your average, everyday conservative, American, patriot, libertarian, whatever. One poll showed that 57% of Republicans under 50 hold an unfavorable view of Israel. Oh my gosh, there it is, guys. It's Israel. Israel's the bad guy. That was a Manhattan Institute study. Now, you might think, why is that important? Well, because they have a tendency to yield results that they wanted versus results that are reality. But they claim that nearly 40% of Republican voters think that the Holocaust was greatly exaggerated, which I think, I wonder. And you might think, how are they able to manipulate polls? You do it in really three ways. Number one, you manipulate based upon the people that you're polling. Number two, you can manipulate by redoing polls over and over again until you get the results that you want. This happens much more often than I think anybody realizes. Like, for example, if you want a poll to say that 40% of Republicans think the Holocaust was greatly exaggerated, you poll, 500 Republicans here and 500 Republicans there and 500 Republicans here and 500 Republicans there. And then whichever one shows the highest percentage, that's the poll that you use. It's very dishonest. It's not reality, but that's how they can legally get away with it, because they don't have to disclose they already did other polls. They don't have to use any of those numbers. They just have to qualify as a poll. They just have to use, they have to identify the sample set, who they are, and then go after that set. They don't have to disclose they tried it with different sets otherwise. And then the third way they can manipulate is by wording the poll questions and the poll answers differently from how they present the results. That's why it's always important to never just read the synopsis. You should read the poll. If there's a poll out there that's important to you, read the whole poll, read how everything was worded, both the questions and the answers, because they are manipulative, every one of them, even if they're not trying to be. I mean, it's just human nature. It's sort of like, can you have an unbiased journalist? No. That would have to be even a robot will still have biases from whoever programmed the AI. So, there's really no way to do it. Same thing with polls. They're always going to be biased, even if they try not to be. Some of them are better at being unbiased than others. Some of them go to a full-blown push poll, which is, for those who don't know, it's a poll that basically it's designed specifically to make you think something. It's not asking your opinion. It's to make you think something, So it's just an example of, off the top of my head, of a push poll question. It would be, do you support the war do you believe that Israel, who had said that they were going to go into Iran no matter what, is responsible for the United States coming in, based upon the idea that if the United States hadn't gone in when Israel did, then Iran would have attacked U.S. interests and bases? That's like a push poll question. It's a sloppy one because it's off the top of my head, but you get the idea. So you got different ways that they can manipulate, because there's a counter data point from the Schoen Cooperman survey of young conservatives that found the opposite. They say that 61% of young conservatives in America support the war, and that only about 24% oppose it. Just 1 in 5 say it mainly serves Israel, with 68% calling it necessary. And this was among all adults. The question, when posed to all adults, those questions, you had a 44 to 41 split. Now, which one is accurate? The answer is neither of them are. They're both extreme. On one hand, they're saying Republicans hate Israel and hate Jews and deny the Holocaust. And on the other hand, oh my gosh, no, Republicans love Israel, especially young Republicans, and you can tell by this, and this. Polls are worthless. They're worthless. Don't go by them. Go by reality. This is why, again, my engagement with all of these news aggregators gives me a insight and superpower. I can see what people actually like to talk about, what they actually want to hear about. I can see by raw numbers, actual numbers. And you have to take things into account, like time of day, how far up or down on the list was it at any given moment. How did I craft the headline? Stuff like that. That has an impact. But generally speaking, the topic of Israel in either direction isn't a very popular one at all. The topic of Iran in either direction isn't a very popular one at all. You know what is popular? The economy. You know what is popular? Things that are happening here in the United States of America. And here's an odd one for you. You know who is popular? James Woods. Actor James Woods, for whatever reason, and I've never been able to figure out why, if I put out a headline of James Woods doing anything, the audience loves it. It's the craziest thing. I tried Clint Eastwood. I've tried, the handful of the quote unquote conservative celebrities out there. There's a true, legitimate James Woods effect. If you want to start a conservative site and you want it to be popular, throw out a lot of James Woods stories. That's a piece of data that I have that nobody else has until you. Now you have that data. What are you going to do with it? That's the question. Point is, we don't have to believe this side or that side. They want us to. But even somebody like me, I am very much pro-Israel, but I have no problem with listening to or talking about, Tucker Carlson. Okay. Because I agree with Tucker Carlson probably 60, 70, 80% of the time. Candace Owens says hideous things. And I agree with her probably 60, 70, 80% of the time. Maybe not lately, because she's been sort of hyper-focused ever since the whole Macron man thing. But still, ideologically, I agree with her 60, 70% of the time. Mark Levin, I've gotten into some arguments with him, not like face to face or anything. I'm not, he's name dropping Mark Levin. No, it's not like that. It's on X, which is meaningless, but still I've gotten into it with him, but I still agree with him 60, 70% of the time. Shapiro, same thing. So if we're in agreement on the vast majority of things that a conservative American, a patriot, should agree on, then why is it that Israel is tearing us apart? Or not them as a nation, just their existence, just the topic is tearing apart the MAGA movement. Could there be something more to it? Could this be part of some conspiracy to take down the United States of America, take down Republicans, take down conservatives, to split us apart? We were too strong together, so they're going to have to split us apart? Is this a psyop? With crazy thoughts. Except it probably is. It almost certainly is. And yes, the money is flowing from both sides. Look, this notion of, what did he call him? Was it Catarlson? Catarlson? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Basically, the insinuation that Tucker Carlson is receiving money from Qatar, or the notion that Ben Shapiro is receiving money from Israel or Jewish groups. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so stupid. There's denials everywhere. These are all just conspiracy theories, except they're probably true to some extent. They actually really are. And it's not just the money, by the way. It really isn't. There's a lot of other considerations to take into account. We can't just say everybody's bribed. That's lazy. We have to say what sort of other influence could be happening here. Why would they be heading in this direction? Why would they be doing this? Let's look at this bigger picture, right? Because that's what we like to do. We like to look at things from the 30,000-foot view and then narrow down to the appropriate 5,000-foot view, and then really narrow down to the root cause once we find it. But we can't find that root cause by looking super close, and that's what they want us to do. And whoever they are, the powers and principalities, New World Order, Deep State, whatever you want to call them, they want us so focused on the ground level that we can't even possibly locate the actual cause to all of these various problems that we're having. Sounds crazy, except it's probably true. One more segment about Israel. I promise. That's it. Coming right up after the break here on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Isn't it strange that if your team won 70% of their games, you'd be happy? If your marriage was 70% of the time you're on the same page with your wife and you're happy and everything's going great 70% of the time, you're in a happy marriage. Only in politics is where people draw the line for certain things. I have to agree 100%. If you don't agree with me 100%, then you're wrong. There's no give or go in politics. Everywhere else, yeah.
Eric the Gray, yeah. Oh, I agree. And he's right. Both of you are right. Both Brock and you. I mean, notice I didn't say that I do listen to Tucker. I said I could, because I do agree with him 60% or 70% of the time. The real question, and didn't say this during the show, during the radio portion, but the reality is this, that when we look at, do we support this? Do we listen to that person? What is our stance on it? It might be, for the sake of unity, we can say it's 60 to 70% of the time we agree with them. But if they are doing something, for example, like Carlson, like I take great offense to what he says about how Islam is peaceful. Islam is, getting mad at President Trump for calling out Islam on during holidays and stuff like that. Yeah, no, no, I have no interest in that whatsoever. Trying to defend Islam as not being a violent ideology, it is. Okay. Maybe not the religion, even though you can look at the
100%.
Quran, but it is a violent ideology. I mean,
Has been since its inception.
yeah, I mean, it is about Sharia, it is about conquest, it is about making us submit. So yeah, in that regard, like I can agree with Tucker Carlson 60 to 70% of his views, but that doesn't mean that the other 30 or 40% of his views aren't disqualifying. I do not listen to him. I won't listen to him. I don't follow him. I have no interest in Tucker Carlson.
I used to.
I used to, sure.
I
That
canceled.
doesn't mean that. That doesn't mean that we have to always come back to fight about Israel. I'll fight anybody about Islam, Christianity, American stuff. I'll fight about the things that are affecting me today and affecting my family and affecting my nation. I won't fight anybody. Well, I mean, it's not that I won't fight them. I won't seek a fight, we'll say, about anything that has to do with this nation the size of New Jersey.
Yeah.
You know, because there's 54 Muslim majority nations. At least I think nearly half of them are true full-blown theocracies. And can the Jews have one nation? Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. That makes me a Zionist by the definition of the word. Does that mean that I am Israeli first? No, not a bit. Not a bit. Not even a little bit. It just means I am America first. And I believe in their sovereignty, and I don't want to oust Saudi Arabia, and I don't want to oust Japan or North Korea or South Korea or anybody. I don't want to oust the Jews. So I guess I'm just the bad guy. Gosh,
Yeah,
I can't wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow is UFO day. This is an infuriating topic. UFO day is a fun topic.
Yes.
I'm going to give you so many videos. You're
Oh,
going
no.
to get tired of winning. All right, I'll admit it. I may have lied. I may have lied just a little bit about saying that this will be the last segment about Israel, because I look at my notes and yeah, I got a lot more notes. I got a lot more notes than I thought. But we're going to cover a topic in this particular segment ahead of the break that I guess you could say that it's something that's going to make a lot of people angry. A lot of people in this audience are not going to like what I'm about to say, because Tucker Carlson is loved by a lot of people. Some people think that he is the greatest journalist alive. I know some of the people. I work with at least one person who thinks that Tucker Carlson is the greatest journalist alive and would say that Tucker Carlson is the greatest journalist that's ever existed. And I've said on today's show that I agree with Tucker Carlson 60, 70% of the time. You look at his past views, you look at a lot of the stuff that he's said and done over the years. Yeah. I mean, we don't agree on Israel, but I don't consider that to be necessarily a disqualifier. However, there is a disqualifier, because I strongly consider the rising, the burgeoning, the emerging red-green alliance to be the greatest overarching risk to the United States of America. Think of it as a combination of Iran and China. Think of it as a combination of Zohran Mamdani and Zohran Mamdani, who embodies both the red side, which is the communism, and the green side, which is Islamicism. This is not an attack against Muslim individuals, but I don't want Sharia law in the United States of America. And they are pressing and pushing and doing everything they can to get Sharia law in the United States of America. And they have teamed up with the Marxists. It's a combination that shouldn't exist. Okay? On one hand, you have a group of people who say we need to be loving and caring, as long as we're loving and caring in a way that's completely inclusive and allows LGBTQIA plus to dominate. And then you have the other side saying we don't have to be loving and caring, and we don't like anybody involved in LGBTQIA plus. As a matter of fact, we'll throw them off roofs. And somehow, some way, these two diverse groups said, hey, we should hate each other, and we'll hate each other later, but right now we hate the United States of America more. So let's work together. And then we can figure out who gets to kill who later, after we take down America. The logic, as illogical as it sounds, as illogical as it seems to have what is it, queers for Palestine or Muslims for trans or whatever, as weird as it is to have the pro-Palestine chants being led by Marxists, as weird as it is to have the Democrat socialist agenda being pushed by Muslim candidates, as weird as all this is, it actually makes perfect sense if you consider that there are two targets that are much bigger to both sides than each other. The enemy of thy enemy is thy friend, right? Who is the enemy to both of them? Number one, the United States of America is both their enemies. They want us to not just be changed. They say they want change. They don't want change. They want it to be completely deconstructed and then rebuilt in their image. The other unifying enemy, as far as the woke left and the red side, the Marxists, and the green side, the Islamicists, the other unifying force, enemy to both of them is me and any of you who believes that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. Christianity is their enemy. The Judeo-Christian faith that drives, and at least for the first 250 years of this nation, that drives not just our laws and our culture, but it has driven our success. I would argue that our success as a nation is based upon the founding fathers praying to God, working the Bible into the Constitution, and then God saying, yep, bless them. Well, the Red Green Alliance doesn't like that. And they're going to do everything they can to tear it apart. So while I might not agree with Tucker Carlson about Israel, I'm not going to necessarily hold that against him. Okay? I'm not. Sorry. But when he goes out there, as he's doing more and more lately, and siding with Islam, he's grabbing onto that green side of the Red Green Alliance. Well, that's why I don't listen to him. That's why I'm opposed to him. That's the other reason why, or one of the other reasons why, when I say we can't just always focus on Israel, it's because it prevents some people from seeing that part of it. More Israel talk after the break, right here on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
All I think about Islam, and when people talk about it, is show me a place where Islam has taken hold, where it's in charge. Third world, where they take over England. What have they produced? What good has come from it? What good has come from any place that the Muslim faith has taken hold? Oh, wait.
You won't get much, I promise you. By the way, speak up. Who's the one that prompted that entire segment? I just did a segment based on a chat. I think it was Eric the Gray, wasn't it? Thank you for inspiring that. And this is one of the reasons I love to read the chat. give me a topic. In this case, it was Tucker Carlson and Islam. It's just one little chat, and we turned it into a segment. I'm telling you, man, we can do this. You and me. Drop Wendy, not drop her. Like when you're done with Wendy after the Wendy Bell show, then let's run a chat like this, and we'll just do a show. We'll let the audience pick every segment that we're going to talk about. Huh?
I'm busy.
You're always busy. You're
well, you know, I am.
You and your fixing stuff and saying words weird and whatever.
But
you had your chance. Now I don't want to hear it.
For people who think Islam has turned the world into a better place, you need to have your head examined. And if you're going to have your head examined, why not go to the SimkovicConcussionInstitute.com?
Segue, man.
That's where I would go. I'd call 412-366-3700, SimkovicConcussionInstitute.com. Find out if he can help you. I know he can. I deliberately asked him, can you cure liberalism? And he said no. But if you have migraines, if you have had concussions in the past and you just don't feel right, and he can help you. If you have tremors, our friend had tremors. She said she's 85% better. So go to the Simkovich Concussion Institute, find out if they can help you get your brain back in order and get your life back in order. 412-366-3700. You get a free examination and assessment. Does his little things with his hands in the roof of your mouth and can feel things that you don't even know it's wrong. 412-366-3700, SimkovicConcussionInstitute.com. Wait till I tell Wendy you tried to lure me.
No, I wasn't. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean drop Wendy. I meant
that's not what you said though, and that's not how I'm going to tell the story. That's all. That's all that matters.
I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her what you did to me.
What's that?
Oh, you don't want to know. You don't want me saying that out loud in front of anybody.
What did I say?
The truth will come out.
Oh,
I've already spoken to my lawyer.
Wait till I tell her that you
my Jewish lawyer.
Right.
Like Candace Owens. I hired Candace Owens' former Jewish lawyers.
You know what I don't understand about her? Like, I guess you're right. I don't see the numbers, but to hit on topics and just make it like the Macron thing. I really don't care if he's married to a man. I don't care if she was once a man. I don't care. They don't know me. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. But like hardcore. And then it's always with all these, even the Megyn Kellys, it gets personal between the people, Megyn Kelly and Mark Levin. I don't know either one of them. Neither of them have an influence over me or anything that happens in my life. But like the oxygen that they suck out of a room is just mind-numbing. And then Candace Owens, then here's the thing that it's so clickbait with her husband's gay and she only does this because his family's money. And I'm like, why am I supposed to care? I see all these things and say, why am I supposed to care? And I still have not come up with an answer yet of why I'm supposed to care.
But people do.
And I don't understand that.
It was a spike. Like I saw that. I wish I had it on screen. It was like she's kind of going up. Then there was a spike for Macron. And then once Erica Kirk stuff started happening, she just kept going up. She just keeps going up. She is like, we're talking like 8x compared to this time last year. Okay. Years of steady growth. She had the spurt from the Daily Wire, and then she left the Daily Wire, and then she had a spurt, but then it was like pretty steady for the longest time till Brigitte Macron is a man. What? Yep. I got pictures of his testicles. What? Yeah, I'm not asking. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, I don't want to see him. I'll. You know what? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on this one. You have pictures of.
You don't want to know what pictures I have. I'll show them.
Oh,
you watch.
I can't wait to tell when. I'll text her right now. JD told me
JD said to drop Wendy.
drop you and come with him. Tomorrow will be JD's last show.
Today
just
is
kidding.
JD's last
Just
show.
kidding.
Wendy's on a plane right now. She's already flying back. She'll be back tomorrow.
She's fishing.
I do. hear about
Here's
that.
the thing: when Wendy goes away,
Man.
you can. I don't even have to know what she's doing to say. I have a 50-50 chance of being right. Fishing or golfing. That's it. I could say today she's golfing, and there's a chance I'm right. I could say she's fishing, and there's a very good chance I'm right. All right. Here we go. Last hour.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
You know, you can be in the middle of a hurricane.
I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress.
People can yell at you.
So I am going to tell you that we have to Trump.
North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things.
We're living in a different world. 70% of Americans say Trump is doing what he promised to do.
And in this business, right is still right. Even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program. Filling in for Wendy Bell from Patriot TV, J.D. Rucker.
I want to be an anchor dad. I really do. I know I keep saying it, but it's true. It really is true. I do. I'm a poet. I didn't know it. Before we get back into talking about Israel and all that stuff, there was some news, breaking news, and it actually is relevant to today's show. According to Fox News, the House floor erupts. Still learning to read. Erupts after GOP lawmaker accuses Rashida Tlaib of Hezbollah ties. Representative Max Miller, who I know a lot of, I don't know all 400 of the members, 400 and however many members of Congress, but I know most of them. I know every senator. And when I say no, I'm not saying I know them. Not name dropping everybody there, just saying that I study enough of them, and if they do anything, then they're going to get on my radar. This is the first time Max Miller from Ohio has gotten on my radar, but he's definitely on my radar now because he's going after Rashida Tlaib, the Democrat from Michigan, the Democrat Socialist, the squad member. She's part of the squad, and she has always been pretty much every 2 or 3 months. She gets accused by somebody of being part of Hezbollah or part of a Hamas sympathizer or whatever, and she always does a very horrible job of denying it. Like between her and Ilhan Omar, they just have this thing where they're able to somehow never denounce Islam, never denounce ties to Islamic terror groups. And I shouldn't say denounce Islam because I wouldn't expect them to denounce Islam. That was the wrong way to put it. They should denounce Islamicism. They should denounce Sharia if they are going to represent here in the United States of America. This is why I'm 100% in support of Randy Fine's push to limit members of Congress to one master, a single citizenship. You cannot, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter, where you've been. If you're going to be a member of Congress, then you have to renounce, I should say, your citizenship from somewhere else. funny part is Randy Fine is Israeli. So they never mention that part, do they? But yeah, he even said that even me, I need to, and he has renounced his citizenship from Israel. But we can and probably should take it a step further. And there is an amendment on the table that will never go anywhere. That's why I don't talk about it. I wish it could. But one that says that basically you put in the same exact criteria, not age-wise, but citizenship-wise, as the President of the United States. In other words, every member of Congress, every member of the Senate would have to be a natural-born citizen, which would eliminate people like Rashida Tlaib. So there is that. I haven't done it today. I did it like 15 times yesterday, and it made for boring radio. So I did not do it at all today, but I got to do it now. As soon as I find the tab, we're going to do a quick check, California check. We got like 28 days left in the election counting ballot thing that they like to con us with. I think I might have closed it. That's how sick of it I was. I did. Dang it. I closed it. Oh, well, I guess we aren't going to find out, because I'm not going to go look for it. But last I checked, we were basically heading in the wrong direction. It seemed as if what's her name? Nithya Raman was catching up a little bit to Spencer Pratt. I think he's safe. I think he built a big enough lead, but there are some out there that are saying that they might try to steal it. And I'm very concerned about Tom Steyer getting a nice batch of billionaire ballots, mail-in ballots, flying in, literally via helicopter, by the way, in LA County, flying in and pushing Javier Becerra up above Steve Hilton, and then pushing Tom Steyer up above Steve Hilton as well, to where we'll have a Democrat versus Democrat running in the general election in November. It's ugly. And they know it's ugly. And they don't care. People are starting to call it out. That's a good thing. And I'll explain why that's a good thing here in a second. But it is, I do have it. I'm sorry. I lied. Let me look at the numbers real quick. Okay, we're still at 56%. For the gubernatorial race, still has Steve Hilton at 27.5%, Tom Steyer at 19.8%. All right. So let's check real quick to see the mayor's race. And that one's showing at 62%, with Spencer Pratt did drop below 30, barely. He's at 29.9, and Nithya Raman is at 22.8. So I know I said earlier that I was a little bit more confident about that one. I'm starting to lose faith. Starting to lose confidence. I think they are going to try to steal LA and the state of California from the candidates that we like, Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton, which is a shame. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. President Trump seems to think that as well. He posted on Truth Social last night about how the Democrats, that's his new word, he's been using that a lot lately, about how the Democrats are trying to steal the election. You've got people on the right like Ron DeSantis talking about how, hey, here in Florida, where we have tens of millions of people as well, we're able to get it done in like a day. Why does it take California so long? And he's right to ask that. Of course, the answer is so they can cheat. Listen, I know that there's people out there, even amongst Republicans and conservatives and libertarians, there are those of you out there who are like, you know what? We don't know for sure they cheat. Let me tell you something with a 99% certainty, okay? I don't go 100% because there's always a chance. But with a 99% certainty, I can tell you this, that the election system in California was specifically and meticulously designed for voter fraud. It is like if you were to scrap the entire system and you were to bring in the smartest person in the world and you were to say, okay, here's California. We need you to build the electoral system from scratch you know nothing about the history, you know nothing about anything, just build it from scratch. But here's the thing. We want you to build it in a way that one party is going to be able to dominate indefinitely. Okay. Smartest person in the world, never seen the election process in California, but is smart enough to figure it out and is given the instruction to build a perfect thieving voter fraud system. That person would build an extremely close replica of what it is today. It's designed for fraud. It is made to steal elections. Now, I'm not saying that they steal every single election. That would be dumb. We are still in a state that does have a strong majority of Democrats, but they don't want to take a chance. They won't take a chance. Why? Because that strong majority of Democrats, I believe, is at least partially an illusion. I know at least, we'll say 5 to 10% to be conservative, because that's what we are. We're conservatives. But it could be as high as 15 or 20% of those people that are registered as Democrats are willing to and maybe have voted Republican in the recent past. It's not because their ideas have changed. Very similar to a previous California Democrat named Ronald Reagan. Very similar to him. Many of these people out here in California, many of these Democrats can say, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. They become radicals. Okay. There is no Democrat socialist anymore. I know it's becoming popular, but it doesn't exist. There's just Democrats and they're socialists. When it comes to elected officials, they're socialists. We're seeing it time and again. We're seeing, again, I noted yesterday, Saikat Chakrabarty up in San Francisco. This guy's a radical. This guy built the framework for the Green New Deal. He got AOC elected. He was her first chief of staff. And he lost to somebody who was more radical than him. Hello? The party has left them. So is it true that technically speaking, there are a lot more Democrats registered in California? You betcha. So why would they have to steal elections? Why would they have to create so much voter fraud? Because they know that it's a smokescreen. They know it's an illusion. They know, they see the numbers, and they realize that a lot of the people that used to vote for Nancy Pelosi and Barbara Boxer are now voting for Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton. And that terrifies them. That's why they're going to continue to go down this road. Stealing elections, unless President Trump can do something about it, unless John Thune is willing to do something about it with the Save America Act. We'll talk more about that after the break here on the Wendy Bell radio program. Oh, goodness. Brock, how many more sponsors you got?
Just wanted to tell you about. Do you want to hear about it? Good. Because if not, I'm gonna go check out moregainsfitness.com, bodybuild my way into being able to beat the hell out of people. Not really. But you could. Kelly's gonna show you what to eat, show you what to do, get rid of your moobs, get rid of your love handles, build you a butt. She's gonna tell you how to eat. She's going to tell you the workout you need to do to get exactly the body and health that you want. moregainsfitness.com. She's having a merch sale right now. Wendy, I know, wears her merch to work out and says she loves it. It's really comfortable. So go check out moregainsfitness.com. Check out the 90-day Ignite plan. You can change your life. Wendy shows you pictures all the time that people have just morphed into completely different, you wouldn't recognize them because they've dropped weight, they've built muscle. Check it out, moregainsfitness.com. Check out the 90-day Ignite. While you're there, get some merch. And if you're in Cambria County, Somerset, go to the actual gym. See the plaque that says proud sponsor of the Wendy Bell radio show that hangs outside the gyms. moregainsfitness.com.
Before the show, I even asked Brock, I'm like, do you think the audience is going to like this? I know they're not going to like it. At least half of them won't. But do you think that it's okay? Because this is something that's been on my heart to talk about for a while. And this is an opportunity to talk about it to a different audience than those that are used to me. Because again, when I talk about this stuff, I talk about it from a purely Christian perspective. But having the opportunity to talk about it geopolitically, I have that knowledge. I can talk about it. But here's the thing. I had asked Brock. He said, we don't usually talk about this stuff. It's fine. But we'll see. The audience is responsive. But I'm looking at the rumbles, and I am ashamed. We know for sure we can give Wendy empirical data that says don't talk about Israel because Rucker couldn't even get like 1/3, or I guess 1/3, but I got about 40% of the likes or rumbles that I got on day one. So either I'm getting worse at my job, which I'm not, or this topic is pretty darn polarizing, which I'm okay with. But
or a real good test, and you guys who use Rumble all the time know this. If you look at the editor's picks and you see the numbers of each of them, it seems like we get the most downloads on podcasts for Thursdays, but it always seems like on Thursdays the numbers for Rumble are down.
I know. I'm just making a play for a thumbs up. That's all.
Oh, I'm just saying though that I don't understand it.
You don't have to inflate my ego. It is so big right now. It's always been this big. I can't stop how big my ego gets. It's so sad. I need to take it down a notch.
Makes me laugh when you say egos. That's what Wendy calls her egos. She's like, I don't have big egos.
All right.
Talking about two different things. Big
Two
Mike
more.
has some egos, but different kind of egos. Big Mike.
Last one. I promise. I know I keep saying it. This is it. And we are done, at least for today, talking about Israel. I want to end with this as the Israeli note. I am not Israeli first, or Israel first, as they call them. I am not part of the woke right, as they call them. I am an America first guy who loves God, who loves Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and who recognizes that we have major, massive challenges here. And does Israel have a great influence over our nation? It does. But guess what? So does Saudi Arabia. So does South Korea. So does China, for that matter. We have foreign influences here, and we should treat them as we should treat them, which is a challenge. Sometimes they're bad. Okay, selling farmland by the millions of acres to China, that makes no sense at all. Let's fix that. That's a big challenge. Having so much Saudi influence over our media, yes, that is real, and it is a challenge. Having all of our technology built around either Taiwan or South Korea, that is a challenge. Does Israel pose a challenge? You betcha. But why should Israel define the conservative movement today in such a gigantic way? Yes, I know the Iran war does have something to do with Israel, but no, it wasn't Benjamin Netanyahu telling President Trump, you need to eat. I'm ordering you to attack Iran. Did he force his hand a bit? You betcha. But would we have attacked Iran anyway? Yes, we would have. People don't want to hear that. Sometimes I think maybe they're believing this. They're believing that Israel influence it because they don't want to acknowledge that maybe it's possible that President Trump Even though he said no new wars during the campaign, maybe he meant just one new war. Maybe he just said, you know what? I know I said no new wars, but Iran's nuclear capabilities cannot be allowed. So we're going to do, we got to do it. I don't know. I just know that this so-called MAGA divide, it's got to stop. Thankfully, and I think this might be the ultimate takeaway from this entire discussion about Israel. The most important takeaway is that, as I've tried to at times illuminate, it's not real. Like, I can talk to you all, and hopefully 90% of you aren't sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is either too pro-Israel or too anti-Israel, and I'm never going to listen to him again. He's evil. He's one of them. I don't put myself into any them category, not at least as it pertains geopolitically. It's just not important enough for us to talk about constantly. And that's why I don't talk about it constantly. We talked about it today because it needs to be said. But I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I will talk about Israel, the Jews, eschatology, all of that stuff on my show, which you can always check out after the Wendy Bell radio program starting next week. Find my show, JD Rucker Show, on Rumble. But outside of the biblical aspects, this is still a tiny country with a lot of influence, but not even the most influence. See, that's the part that I don't understand. Is that, we could talk about AIPAC, we could talk about Hollywood, we could talk about the influence that Israel and the Jews have on our nation. It still barely registers in the top 10. I don't know where it sits in the top 10 as far as most prevalent national influences outside of coming from the outside of the United States of America, but Israel's not number one. You'd think they were, because they get talked about more than pretty much everybody else combined, at least by the podcasterati on the right. So, do I side with Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson? Do I side with Mark Levin or Megyn Kelly? Do I side with anybody versus Candace Owens? Now, the answer to that question is probably, I would side with pretty much anybody over Candace Owens at this point. The new Candace Owens, the current Candace Owens. She's just crazy. The attacks on Erica Kirk, come on. That just doesn't even make any sense. Some of the things that she said, some of her complaints, at least you could say, okay, that sort of makes sense. When you start saying, oh my gosh, Erica Kirk, I'm not saying, I'm just asking questions about whether or not maybe she participated with Israel to kill her husband. Oh, no, I never said that. What? No, you did. Like, we have it on tape. Nope, never said it. As far as everybody else, I'm going to side with America. And I just don't care enough about the nation of Israel to worry about what they're doing to us. After the break, we're going to talk about anything other than Israel for the last half hour here on the Wendy Bell radio program. Somebody said, Sherry said, Erica Kirk is not good. Sadly, I don't like Erica Kirk, to be clear, but I don't think she killed her husband. Okay. It's nuance.
What turned me off was how she knew Charlie. Like, that's what she kept harping on, was how she knew him more than anyone else. It was a sick obsession. Like, I mean, I only saw clips. Don't get me wrong. I did not watch the shows. So maybe I'm influenced by just the clips that I've seen. But she's like, I knew Charlie. We still talked. You didn't know that. But I was like, well, I don't even care.
No, they're still talking now, I think. All right. She speak to his.
Well, does she think he's not dead? I've seen that.
No, she knows he's dead, I think she thinks that she dreams about him, and he talks to her in her dreams.
Oh, well, then there's that.
I love.
I know
that's
people.
my wife. Hold on, real quick. Myron 54. Candace is a jaded lover. That's my wife's theory. That's my wife thinks the exact same thing. It's like she was in love with him, and now he didn't pick her. He picked Erica, and now she's taken out on Erica after he died.
Wow,
it's a good theory.
I've never even thought that. I know people that think he's not really dead.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Look, I love a good conspiracy theory, but let's kind of keep it as real as. Oh crap! I got to find stories to talk about. I cut us off. I didn't actually look for stories.
I mean, I did send you a bunch.
Oh, I'll look at those. Just teasing. I usually do, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Are they videos or no?
Some of them are videos, but they're stories too. The Graham Plattner stuff's supposed to come out. Did you see? I sent it to you yesterday. Did you see the thing about the Dan Sullivan in Alaska? The left has put another guy named Dan Sullivan on the ballot.
Yeah, that's funny.
There's another way to cheat. Just another. I mean, you got to give them credit. They can get kind of stale in the way they do things. It's the same playbook, but then every once in a while they come out of left field where let's find someone with the same name, and then we'll write his press releases to make it look like it's his press releases, but it's really not. It's this other guy.
There was a movie in I think it was the 80s, might have been 90s, called The Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy. You should look it up.
Apparently, there's more Graham Plattner stuff that's supposed to be worse than the Nazi tattoo coming out. I think they should make, as punishment, along with the fine, they should make John Bolton shave his mustache on national television. I would tune in for that.
That'd be funny.
It would be funny.
Looking for stories. I guess I'll have to go to my feed.
Hezbollah is rejecting proposed Israel-Lebanon ceasefire that could impact broader negotiations. New York Democrats just voted to erase mother and father. Governor Kathy Hochul will be replacing mother with gestating parent and father with non-gestating parent. Are you kidding me? Aren't these people supposed to be serious? Did you guys see the clip with Mark Wayne Mullins yesterday? And who's the clown show from Texas? The Kane guy. What is his name?
Al.
Yes.
Come on. What's your favorite color?
Green.
There you go.
Telling him to shut up. I'm like, are these people are supposed to be serious people? Congress is such a clown show anymore. Everybody's looking for their 30-second clip that goes viral. And then they ask Rubio questions, not really questions. And he's like, what are you talking to me about? Is President Trump? This is a foreign affairs meeting. What's that have to do with anything? Gestating parent, non-gestating parent. Are you serious? This is where Kathy Hochul's gonna put her flag in the sand.
Nice. I like Kathy Hochul. She gives me oh my gosh.
She's an ugly broad.
I like her. I think she's real nice.
That's the if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all response.
No, I think she's nice. Wow, there really is a lot more happening today than I realized. It's good that we had this discussion. It's also good that we're not going to have it anymore. Apparently, Kathy Hochul is doing her thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is about these these coastal Democrats, particularly in New York and California. There's just something about them that says, "Hey, I've been really dumb, so let's double on the dumb and get dumber." It's like Dumb and Dumber Part 22. So apparently, she's pushing for us to no longer call people, the our parents. It's not they're not mom and dad. They're lactating parents or non-lactating parents because you never know, right? You never know what you're going to get. You look at people like Richard Gere. I'll admit, I'm one of those guys. When it comes to Hollywood, I think that they're all just scumbag scoundrels. But he's actually out there bashing Trump in foreign countries again. We see what happens when these leftists do this. They go out and they bash. And it's always Trump. Okay, they bash him, and then they come back and they get so annoyed when we don't go watch their movies. We saw it happen with what was that? The Mandalorian Grogu. I don't watch much television. I don't. I haven't watched much television in a long time. But every now and then, my wife and I do watch shows. And I remember hearing so many good things about The Mandalorian and knowing just how bad Disney had butchered Star Wars that I thought, well, let's look at this one. And we did it. We watched the first couple of seasons and we liked it. And we were actually contemplating watching the movie. And then Pedro Pascal, the star, just has to go crazy every time. He's gotten to that point now where he has to infuse politics into everything that he does. And he went on, I forgot whose show it was. He went on some late night television host show and like gave him a big kiss on the lips just to say, oh, look, cool, I'm gay. Well, that might work for half the audience. The other half of the audience, it's not going to make them think, oh, wow, I got to go out and watch the new Star Wars movie because of this. And of course, it bombed. It turns out it appears to be the worst Star Wars bombing of all time. It maybe end up worse than Solo, which was previously the worst. And that was just a bad idea. That was bad. But there was a lot of bad that had to do with Solo. It's one of the few movies. I think it's actually the only Star Wars movie I couldn't watch. I started watching it. I stopped. And it's just like, wow, this just isn't a very good movie. It's not very good cinema at all. And so we stopped it. Let's see. What do we have going on in the world? Vatican's new head of communication says it's wrong to want Jews. See, it's so funny. Even when I try to avoid the Jew stories, here's one every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Yes. Vatican's new, but this one isn't technically a Jew story. This is a Catholic story. Vatican's new head of communications says it's wrong to want Jews to become Christians. I'm going to have to talk about this one next week on my show because I have a lot of thoughts about the Christian conversion of everybody, especially Jews, as it's described in the, Bible. Hello. Of course, the Vatican, and this isn't the Pope. In this case, it is the new head of communications. That's the big concern that any of us who are Bible-believing Christians should have is it's not necessarily just the spread of heresy. For example, what's happening with James Tallarico down in Texas. It's also this notion of a nice version of the church, a modern version of the church. Look, I'm not all about, we need the Crusades and we're going to conquer the whole world and spread faith that way. I'm not about that. But the notion of spreading your faith, of witnessing, of evangelizing, of proselytizing, of just trying to, at the very least, show people by living a good example and explaining to them that there is a need, a soul need, a forever need to embrace Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. To say, oh, that's just not nice to do that, or you shouldn't do that. That's like saying, oh, no, it's better to either to allow them to live forever in hell. It's like, no, it's definitely not better. So that tells me that these people, such as this new head of communications of the Vatican, either hates people, just hates them. That it's not good to try to tell them the truth because, it's better for them to burn in hell. Or the more likely scenario is they either haven't read their Bible or don't believe their Bible. Because if they read and believe their Bible, it's very clear that the loving thing to do is not to say, oh, you can just do your own religion. It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine, folks. The way, the truth, and the life. But that's for my show. Again, I'm devolving. This is the Wendy Bell radio program. We are far more political and cultural and secular on this show today, which is why I am scrambling right now, trying to find non-Jewish stories. There was this scene where in Family Guy where Peter Griffin is he has to come up with a different name, right? He's got to use a fake name, and somebody asks him his name, and he sees he's looking around, he sees a plate, and there's a P on the plate, and he's P, and then sees something, I don't remember what it was. It's like Tur, P, Tur, and then he sees this griffin fly in, and so his fake name, Peter Griffin's fake name, became Peter Griffin. Yeah, that's how I feel as I'm looking on my feed for non-Jewish stories, and as soon as I click on one, it's a Jewish story. Austin Metcalf, that's so sad. I can't wait to see this one. I saw it earlier on during one of the breaks on the they had the story over the New York Post, but it looks like they also have it over at thepostmillennial.com. This is from the Austin Metcalf trial, and they revealed the last words of Austin Metcalf after he was murdered by knife by Carmelo Anthony, who was able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars because he killed a white boy. His last words were, "I've been stabbed." Sort of like Henry Novak. I can't breathe. I've been stabbed. I can't breathe. They keep saying these things. These young white people that are getting murdered. It seems to be happening far too much. Prosecutor Bill Werski told the courtroom during opening statements that Metcalf had said, "I've been stabbed," as he lifted up his shirt before falling down the steps of the bleachers where his twin brother, Hunter, came to attempt to aid him. Werski told the jury that they were here because the young man, Carmelo Anthony, the suspect, decided to take a knife to a high school track meet and provoke and go after another young man that he didn't know and plunged it into his chest, into his heart, causing his death, which is obviously unjustified and considered to be provoked murder. We will see how the jury handles this. There was some controversy earlier. There's this rumor that he has an all-white jury, and that's not true. There are no black people on the jury, but there is I don't know what race, but I know there's a hijab wearing Muslim. There is at least one Hispanic person, and there's 3 Asian Americans on the jury. So if you hear, oh, Carmelo Anthony won't get justice because he's got an all-white jury, number one, that doesn't make a difference in 2026. I'm sorry. It shouldn't make a difference. Either he's guilty or he's not. I would say most people who are on a jury are going to not take race into account. At least they shouldn't. And if they do, it's because of this stupid cultural Marxism that Barack Obama planted the seeds when he was president and turned us, as we've been turning the corner since the 90s to become a more colorblind nation. And then we had 9/11, and we had a bout with certain types of bigotry, but that was fading away. And if Barack Obama had not been president in January of 2009 all the way until January of 2017, if we had not had those 8 years under Barack Obama, I firmly believe that the nation would not be as woke. that racism would not be nearly as prevalent, and it's not just here in the United States, it's worldwide. I think that he really did take, I'm not saying that it didn't exist before him, I'm saying that he with the seeds planted of cultural Marxism, that was his role, I guess you could say, for the New World Order. He planted the seeds, he watered them, and then they just grew, and they've been growing ever since. We're starting to see some anti-DEI movement thanks to the Trump administration, but it's not enough. It's not enough. So, kite in the thunderstorm, kite in a hurricane. It's so bad, and I don't want to put you guys in bad moods saying, "Oh my gosh, you're saying that it can't be fixed." No, it can be fixed, but it's got to be fixed through prayer, through fasting, through supplication, and through all those things that I talk about on my show and not on the Wendy Bell radio program. Sorry, getting a little loopy. The producer's sitting there calling Wendy, saying, "Wendy, I'm going to need you to do the last segment. Rucker's going crazy. He's starting to like laugh at his own jokes, and they're not that funny at all." Trump plans to spend $700 million to support coal plants and build up export terminals. See, that's a normal story. That sounds like a good idea. Joe Rogan eyed as Anderson Cooper's replacement. Yes, I think that this story was actually sent to me before, and I passed up on it because I don't really watch Joe Rogan, but I didn't read the story. And to say that he could be Anderson Cooper's replacement on 60 Minutes, that's awesome. Of course, they just got rid of Scott Pelley, who tried to martyr himself, got himself fired by Barry Weiss. Why? Darn it. See, even now, I get back into stories about Jews. Yes, he got himself martyred because of Barry Weiss, and nobody likes Barry Weiss because she's not radical leftist, and because she's allegedly, according to people like Candace Owens, she's allegedly a Israeli first. No, it was Megyn Kelly says she's Israeli first. So, yeah. See, even when I try to not talk about Israel, it just comes out. It happens naturally. I didn't choose this. This is a feed. We got to stop it. We got to bring sanity back to the United States of America, which we'll do in the final segment right after the break here on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Thanks for looking. I sent you Joe Rogan thing yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I did see. I told you. I mentioned it yesterday. I said the only reason that I didn't bring it up on my show was because of the. I don't know enough. I've never seen a Joe Rogan episode.
I think it's funny watching the Scott Pelley stuff and the people like Terry Moran, who maybe you guys knew who he was before he interviewed Trump and then got fired. I had no clue who Terry Moran was. Coming out, him and Don Lemon and
did you just say Don Lemming? That's
awesome. What we call him on this show.
I get it. I figured.
What's the other guy? Jim Acosta, Chuck Todd. All these guys that thought they were relevant, but found out really quickly how irrelevant they really were when they got fired from network TV. Chris Wallace, all starting podcasts.
Chris Wallace has a podcast?
That's what he was going to go do. I don't know if he ever did it or not.
I am actively not going to watch that.
And then watching Trump yesterday with Caitlin, what's her name, man face? Caitlin Collins. Is that her name?
Yeah.
From CNN. Telling her to be quiet. You're trash.
She started off a Daily Caller.
Yeah. He said to her, he goes, "You used to be conservative from Alabama." She's like, "I'm still from Alabama." And I'm like, well, you just outed yourself by that statement. He's like, I never see you smile. You used to smile. I'll never see you smile. Be quiet.
Crazy. There's James Woods. Whenever James Woods says anything, people listen.
He does do some good tweets. He puts out some good tweets.
Yeah, but it's not enough to where he should be so popular.
Well, you're telling me Candace Owens is popular. I don't get that either.
Then clearly you haven't been listening to today's show because I explained it.
No, I listened. You said it was like this, and then this, and then this, and then this. Now, if she did a story like she did with Macron on Big Mike, it might pique my interest. What do you guys think about the guy that's now doing the Charlie Kirk show? Andrew, they have him on Fox all the time. He was the executive producer. Now he's the guy behind the mic. I don't know.
I never watched it. Never seen him. See, I always wait until the sponsor. I'm assuming we don't have any more sponsors.
No, I'm out.
Say anything. Son of a gun. See, now I've been.
Well, I can tell you to clean things up by using Disinfect with Sniper.
No,
and get your focus and recall for healthy.
No.
healthycell.com/Wendy.
I wouldn't have been ignoring the audience. Yeah, with
that's what he
dead
does.
air.
He ignores you guys. He just keeps ignoring you. Here we go.
It's the last segment on the second to last day. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, to do my final show of the Wendy Bell radio program. At least for now. Allegedly, I'm coming back in August, but we'll see. We'll see if the numbers pan out for that, because it has not been confirmed. I hope that I do. Yeah, during the break, I've been looking through a lot of these stories, a lot of the things that are happening in the world. And it makes me realize there's a reason why we keep going after the weird things. I'm not talking about, weird as in like sourdough bread. Okay, that's weird. I actually have a story about that, by the way. We're not talking about that type of weird. We're talking about like the unexplained. That's been a topic. There are multiple topics about that have been talked about on shows like this, and they're always popular. Talking about Israel first versus woke right. It's not a fun topic to talk about. I had to do it. I explained that already. It was necessary while I had the ear, but it wasn't. I wasn't doing it because it's something that people like necessarily. Whereas talking about UFOs, extraterrestrials, UAPs, as they're now calling them, which everybody seems to hate, by the way. Everybody's like, I'm old school. I like the term UFO. I don't. I prefer UAP. It actually makes more sense. Call me weird. I know it's odd, but it's about unexplained phenomenon, and that's what it is. Because you don't know if is it flying? Does that include things that are in the water, or by the air, or by the ground? I just think it's a little bit different. Point being is that we are going to talk about it tomorrow. Of course, I saved UFO discussions for the last day, my last day at least, on the Wendy Bell radio program. I've been following UFOs for quite a while. I used to listen to Art Bell back in the day, back in the 90s. I would listen to Art Bell, And sometimes they talk about UFOs, sometimes they talk about remote viewers, sometimes they talk about all those things that are so interesting. And even back then, when radio was still so popular, AM radio was so huge back then. Even a late night show that came on midnight, it was still able to draw so much attention. People would stay up and just to listen to that. I would. My wife and I would. Because that stuff does interest us. So I think the reason I bring all this up is because if you're still listening, I greatly appreciate you, number one. Number two, that means that you deserve perhaps something more fun. I had planned on doing UFOs for about an hour tomorrow, but we're going to make a command decision, a last minute, on the spot decision. And we're going to do everything, the entire 3 hours tomorrow will be about unexplained phenomena of some sort, not just UFOs. We're going to get crazy. We're going to talk about like these silly things. Like, did you know there's this thing? I forgot what it's called now. But apparently they were able to show that, I believe it was mice were able to generationally teach their offspring how to navigate a water maze. So they have this water maze and they've got a fork in the maze. One's lit up, the other one's dark. And because creatures are naturally wanting to go to the light, the mice would go to the light. And if they did, they got shocked. Okay, they were electrocuted. So they got to scurry back. And that first generation that was learning that they were trying to teach this to, it took 160 of them to learn it. Well, their offspring were able to learn better. And then their offspring were able to learn better, and their offspring were able to learn better. And so without communicating all of this, they were able to get it to where the eighth generation could figure out not to go to the light, to go to the dark, swim that way to get out of the maze in like 20 tries. It shouldn't be possible. And yet there we are. My wife was telling me about something to do with ravens and getting hit by cars, and they were able to teach them how to not get hit by cars, except it didn't just happen to one group of ravens. It happened universally to ravens across the world. I'm not familiar with that one. That was just told to me. But there are many, many things out there, things that are odd, worth exploring. I know we talk about politics on this particular program, but I got one last day, and there might be some political stories. Of course, we'll still cover the breaking news. But I think you all have earned the right to hear some fun and crazy stuff that's happening in the world today. So be sure to check us out tomorrow. I'm your host, JD Rucker. You can find me at jdrucker.com. Tomorrow's my last day. Don't miss it. Right here on the Wendy Bell radio program.